and you're getting yourself ready for the main event this weekend. But here we go, guys. The game has been unpaused. You can see we've got Like It back sitting behind the SSG guys, ready to help them out at a moment's notice if the pause comes up. And we are in the opening round, as you had mentioned before. It's Immortals starting out on the attack here, and it will be Space Station on the defense.
Looks like we might be starting things out a little bit aggressive, but what would you expect from a Brazilian squad? He's going to switch out one person that flashes with a shield to one that flashes with some roly-polies, as he will pick up the Kandalas of Ying.
So many baits on blitz picks today. Have you noticing that?
Yeah.
Or just throughout the invite in general.
I guess it's just kind of a scare tactic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Blitz is a very terrifying operator to stare at.
It's blatantly obvious when he's not on the team, though, right? Because you just don't hear the harrowing. I think we call it a choo-choo train.
It is a choo-choo train.
Yeah, you don't hear the choo-choo train coming in the halls. It's like, well, I guess we don't have to deal with that.
Truly terrifying, honestly.
But we will be seeing Space Station on their defense start off. In the normal first sight, it's going to be the Armory Archives start here for them. A little bit of expansion moving out, of course, to still hold with inside of the office. T'Challa goes for the reinforcements outside just to slow down that push a little bit from the attackers. And we'll see how far their defensive grasp likes to go from this site, whether they want to play this a little bit further out. Definitely seems like they're still going to try to vie for as much control of the office as possible, and then fall back into the sites afterwards. We'll check out the roaming presence and whatnot in a moment. Now that we do have the Immortals players out from their spawn.
Now, the main thing for Immortals is going to be really deciding where they want to start from. You see quite a bit of utility over inside of Office used. A couple of T'Challa's mute disruptors out of there as well to try and stop drones. They have the triple wall over on the east side completely reinforced, so more than likely this is either going to be a CCTV take or just going to try and take control of 90 and push things onto the west side wall of Armory Lockers.
Of course, already moving in, two players with control of the east stairs. Navi's going to work his way down to the first floor first to start to clear out pressure a little bit more here before he starts moving in. Buck, in the meanwhile, played by Bullet. Again, just taking care of some of those default cams in the early round, so you don't have to deal with them. Again, for the new players out there in Siege, those cameras are accessible by the defenders and in some circumstances the attackers, but we don't have the operator that allows them to do that, so we won't talk about that too much right now. Obviously, they're very easy to deal with, but if left open, it provides the defenders with a whole lot of info, so you're going to see players throughout the course of this game pre-firing onto that. Speaking of pre-firing, Bullet nearly finds himself an opening kill, but looks as though Space Station are able to get behind just in time. That nade as well going to go in, but once more does not look like it finds a whole lot of impact against the SSG roster.
Looks like Immortals is more or less focused on kind of a pinch take here. They do still have, they had the Buck on the window there for a little bit, played by Bullet, but he is going to drop off and rotate over to his friends over here on the east side of the map, balcony. But they do have the wall thermited open about halfway through the round. Really haven't made their presence too known over here. Fountain has been abandoned by the boys of SSG. As PX will begin to drone inside of Archives. Once again, T'Challa's signal disruptors could come up big here if he's able to deny at least a little bit of information from the IMT boys. As you guys also saw, one of Redeemer's Echo drones is inside. Redeemer being most notably known for his Echo play, but one of them will be found, so he's going to be caught out with just a single yokai. Actually, no, it won't be found out. I thought I saw it get shot off the roof there, but he is going to be able to call out to his team exactly where this push is coming from for IMT.
He's going to get pinged, and a little bit of spam comes in as well to try and take him down now that he has been stunned out. He just barely survives. Sitting at a little over 5 HP, I do believe. However, it does not look like the yokai was actually spotted. He was able to either move it or reposition it very quickly, or it just recloaked itself and never got found out. So, still got both of them up, and some great damage was done to Navi's in the process. Not only that, but quite obviously, look at the time here. Immortals are going to be left with no choice in a moment but to attack. They managed to get the Buck close to the site, and you can see him doing a little bit of reconstruction from the other room, but just hasn't been able to get himself inside of the next room over the server room where they might be able to stop this. PX is going to move in and go for a diffuser plant. He might be able to get it as well, but look at this. Immortals are getting it done. 3 kills coming out of nowhere. The plant as well is going to get interrupted now, and they might still have the opportunity to do that again. The Echo's one of the last 2 still alive. I'm not sure if they stopped it or not. That plant going down onto the ground, and it does successfully go in, meaning Redeemer is now left alone against Bullet and PX in a 1v2 clutch situation. Stuck inside of Mini right now. He does know he's got one directly by the window, as that's obviously where the defuse has gone down. He has an opportunity to try and knock out one of these players, and does successfully take him down, it looks like. But Bullet, in the meanwhile, still at about 25 HP. He knows he can delay this battle just try to wait up the timer on the diffuser. He's going to stick himself on top of it, wait for Redeemer to make a move, and there you go. There's the confirmation. We have the thermite down outside of the window. Good job by Redeemer. He'll go for the initial counter defuse. Bullet's going to make the push, but he gets off of it in time. Finds the last kill. And now it's only a matter of whether he has time to get the counter defuse, which I believe he does. So the first round will go over to SSG as Redeemer picks it up on the Echo in a 1v2 clutch.
Immortals stalling out just a little bit inside of offices, but are going to be able to come back, get the diffuser down. Biggest notation there for SSG is that Nitro Cell by Chala. It actually ended up getting stuck to the bookshelf that he shot out from under, so it did no damage because of the wraparound of the damage of the Nitro Cell. Usually isn't fatal unless they're right on top of it, but Redeemer being very, very clutch. Especially with that Echo. We don't get to see him play Echo too often anymore just because of how proficient he is with Maestro. But, I mean, he is one of the original adapters of Echo, so to see him back on Echo, especially in this matchup when it is do or die, is a special thing.
But you almost always see the Echo ban instead of the Maestro ban. It's usually the other way. It's usually the other way around of what we have now.
So good.
So yeah,
Alda's
pretty much.
So good.
Nobody wants to get rid of it, basically, and lose that massive utility that you have, especially considering that Maestro is pretty much guaranteed to be alive at the end of the round if he's playing the way you'd normally expect a Maestro to play. So it's good for those clutch situations, too. We've already seen plenty of really crazy Maestro clutches over the past few months since he's been added to the game. Yeah,
and if Redeemer begins to really, show his face as often as he usually has in the past with his Echo play, then IQ is definitely going to be an adaptation that Immortals will pick up. Especially just due to the fact that she has a fantastic gun as well. She has actually the hardest hitting AR in the game, if you guys did not know. The 5.52 Commando, the damage margin of 52, if I remember correctly. Extremely damaging assault rifle. The AUG is actually, in my opinion, the best out of the two, just because it shoots a little bit faster and has less recoil, but that's just me. Well, moving forward past your personal opinions, we'll get ourselves into the next round. Everyone cares about the pros.
Yeah.
Just talk over them. I suck at this game.
Obviously, with the defense being successful for the guys on SSG, they'll move downstairs into the workshop site, I do believe, to play for their second round now. Try to continue to build things up. Very chaotic end to that round once again, as we've been seeing a lot of teams adapt here so far throughout SI 2019. It's Immortals that start things off with a very low time next game that they just barely are able to find a plant for in the corner of the armory site. But of course, Redeemer would eventually close out that 1v2. Very nice fashion as well. Nice patient play from him too. He knows he still had the planter at the time of that happening, still stuck in the corner because of the yokai drones that had held him back and delayed him. So waiting for that run out to happen. Had an easy closeout on the 1v1 there. Then it was just a matter of taking down the last member alive from Immortals in that final 1v1 that he had.
Immortals doing very good on the information game, and I know that's for a fact why they are having Redeemer stick to this Echo as well as having Chala on the mute. They're trying to just delay as long as possible, especially upstairs right now. As you guys can see, Redeemer moving his yokai over to try and assist over here in Armory as the ADS will be burnt. They're going to recognize out that there's yet another. They're trying to burn out these ADSs so that Cyber can get some of his Kandalas in there, but he's going to find one of Redeemer's yokai drones, and this is going to get suddenly a little bit easier for the offense. Rampy, though, going to take out Bullet in the process, and that means no more grenades for the offensive players.
That second yokai should still be alive, however, for Redeemer, meaning he'll still have an opportunity to interrupt the plant, which is the primary use of the yokai drone's active ability. You're on it. Meanwhile, we've got Cyber and Thinking Nade very, very close to each other. Thinking Nade, of course, having to be careful of any presence comes in from Malone as he is stuck in the corner right now. But Rampy and Bosco both picking up kills. Ying tries to roll into the site, and unfortunately he's quickly taken down. That Cyber being knocked out by Thinking Nade in the corner on the Bandit. Very easy fashion, leaving just PX alive in a 1 versus 5. Fortunately, a bit of a false start here for Immortals. The Execute just not finding any of the impact they were hoping for. So this round is all but over unless PX can show us some real magic here. Be able to close out the 1v5 with only 45 seconds left. The good news is he does have the diffuser at least, so he will not have to go and scavenge for a drop diffuser elsewhere on the map. He can at least get to the site, but in a 1v5 scenario, it's going to prove incredibly difficult just to get even close to it.
Main things for Immortals here is that they're doing a lot of solo pushing. It's really punishing them. Rampy having 2 solo gunfights from half while winning both of those really disrupted all of Immortals' push. This is just looking very bleak for PX in these last 17 seconds. He's got to try and find 5, and Bosco going to be able to find him from the top of Metal. But again, main thing, solo pushes for Immortals is picking them apart right now, and also the utility that they're bringing on offense really isn't helping them. Everything that is being brought by SSG is counterintuitive to the information game that Immortals is trying to play. They're not bringing a Thatcher. They're not bringing anything to try and disperse any of these bandits or any of these mute disruptors that SSG has been bringing. As well as they're not really bringing much to try and disperse any of the ADSs for Cyber. So they really need to try and bring a little bit more utility to try and help him stop these solo pushes and try and get these walls open. I would definitely like to see a Thatcher pick up here, but I don't think we're going to be able to see it.
And we see this more aggressive, almost solo-styled play that you were mentioning here from Immortals. With a lot of Brazilian teams, it's very much a LATAM style of play.
There we go, Bullet. Bullet's going to pick up Thatcher, ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't looking at the top of your screen while they switched that over. So he dropped the buck, and he is going to pick up the Thatcher. Very smart rotation and op choices for them. He's actually right in the top of the leaderboard right now as well, 2 and 2.
So they switch over to the Thatcher. That'll provide additional utility to get past, namely, that west balcony wall leading into the inside of Armory. There are plenty of other places where they can find it useful too. They're the reinforcement that's going to be sitting on inside of jail. They prove very, very important to breach for the upcoming round, where the sites have now positioned themselves.
Need to get one of those telegraphers so I can just write on the screen and just circle everything.
Circle everything?
Yeah, exactly. But
would be nice, actually.
Yeah, that would be actually insane, especially for this game. It's wild. But I think the biggest thing for Immortals to be concerned about right now is you do not want to feed the beast that is Rampy. You don't want to do it. If Rampy gets confident, that's bad news. That is bad, bad news. Again, there was multiple games inside of the Pro League season where he carried his team to victory. It was very, very close. It was the Bosco Rampy show there for quite a while where they were trying to get their roles figured out. It seems like today they've definitely woken back up. They're playing more as a team, especially after that Empire match from yesterday where it just seemed like team play was not existent.
No, fortunately not. Same to a certain extent, we could say, for the Immortals as well. Beginning 2 rounds here to the individual style of play that they're going for at the moment. It seems like even that is changing now, though. A large focus on this west balcony take once again, trying to limit the risk of players going down without trades.
So you know about bandit tricking, right, Blow?
Yeah.
You ever heard of ADS tricking?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, well, now you just saw it right there. Rampy is actually eventually going to lose it, though. You guys saw him picking it up over and over again while those Thatcher EMPs were going down to try and keep his ADS alive. Final one will find it, though. Redeemer has an Echo drone inside, though, trying to assist Rampy and Chala upstairs inside of CCTV. Immortals really trying to just figure out exactly how they want to take this, and it seems like they want to take this with some ADSs as one will pop up in the window. Cyber's going to go inside. Is he going to be able to find the man on Horseshoe? Yes, he will. It's going to be Rampy down. He knows one's bookshelf, but he's going to drop. He's going to try and cut him off. Is he going to find him? No, Chala going to take about half health right there, as he will be found out by Navi's downstairs.
However, they do finally get control of CCTV. This is the nice staging ground for them to work off of. Also, with some soft destruction in position, which unfortunately, we're not seeing a whole lot of it besides Navi's primarily. They are going to be able to get themselves up on top and start breaching the floor and causing issues. Meanwhile, though, Redeemer, he's got an angle to see inside of CCTV. Those monitors, though, are just blocking the body shot that he might have been able to get against Navi's, able to take him down. It's not meant to happen this time. There's a quick impact trick, however, that's going to be tossed over the wall in jail, be able to stop the thermite breach to the inside. And again, this will slow down Immortals drastically, meaning they may be looking at another low time execute. Bullet just looked inside of A. There's relatively no presence here, though, so the team might start shifting their overall attack in this direction. But Redeemer, them picking off finally the first member of Immortals, they're going to have to slow things down. Navi's, though, just on the outside of Workshop, is quick on the trade, taking down Thinking Nade, leaving it on to Bosco. Along with the Echo, Redeemer.
Bosco playing a spot most notably known as Canadian, as he will find M. King. Yet another player actually above him playing the vertical angle. Bosco could be in some hot water right now if they choose to try and peek down through the floorboards. He's not going to be found just yet. He's going to peek from Canadian once again, but PX will find him. Redeemer going to find one of his own. Will he be able to find the second one? No bullet. We're able to find that kill. And this will be the first round for Immortals on their attack set.
Finally, we were able to find that split appropriately. Like I said, we didn't really I don't think we saw this change out necessarily to a conjoined play, but the more split-style play with them actually finally worked successfully for them, and they were able to kind of pinch out and slowly take down the members of Space Station one by one. The success and I think the early time take that they had in CCTV also really helped their case, as it allowed for much greater control over the downstairs rooms as well.
And this is going to be the biggest round for your Immortals fans out there. Will they be able to take over Armory Lockers? This is the most defendable site stat-wise inside of Border. And truly the biggest thing with it is that last site that SSG just played is one of the hardest sites to defend in this entire map. It's actually customs as well as tellers. Those are the two hardest sites to defend. So if they're able to pick up another round while Armory Lockers is still in play, it'd be a good thing. Your best split that you're more than likely going to see between these two teams would be a 4 in favor of SSG and a 2 in favor of Immortals. If Immortals gets any more than 2, then they definitely have won their offensive set.
Well, they already are growing close to that. So they've been able to pick up their first one, as you're mentioning, against one of the more difficult sites for Space Station to successfully defend. The slowing down of their previously relatively straightforward attacks we've been seeing from Immortals, in addition to the just general use of more utility, like the Ying specifically on the last round found massive impact and was quintessential to the capturing of CCTV. Certainly helped their case, guaranteed those 2 kills they got at the beginning of the round, and really helped to snowball things into their favor towards the end there, as they eventually ended up in the 2v4, where Bosco and Shala were not able to close things down.
Same offensive lineup for the offense here. Still bringing the Ying. Kandala is so powerful in the right hands, and Cyber definitely proving that he knows how to play the very flashy operator. As, things will start on Valley once again. See if Immortals will be able to make some lightning strike twice in these rounds on offense. As they are setting their sights on CCTV, but SSG is actually just going to full-on give it up this time. As I'm going to suspect they have set things up relatively the same, and it doesn't appear so, as they are going to have Rampy over on the archive side. So they will have the triple wall run. Yep, they will have the triple wall over on the west balcony reinforced. Yeah, so much heavier focus again, as you're mentioning, on the office play, and of course defending this wall that's right in front of Navi's right now, the west balcony. First name's going to start to go in. Obviously, we got the ADS on the inside thrown out by Rampy, so it's probably going to eat up the majority of these. The third goes out, however, which means they are safe to throw in the Candela. But at the same time, we still have the Yokai drones holding them back, and the Ying doesn't seem to have affected our player in the corner, which I believe is Thinking Nade. Bosco's going to be able to finish off. Chala with a nice peek into the sandwich window is able to find Bullet as well. And Space Station get off to a nice start here, bringing it down to a 5v3, but it will start to get turned around by M-King. Not only that, Navi's is now in position to try and push into the arsenal, but seems to have seen something. Sprays about half of his magazine out into the open. Unfortunately gives away his position. Thinking Nade gonna find one of his own, as Navi's will go down after a little bit of a mag dump upstairs. This is the part where Chala's mute jammers will come to play, as they are trying to gain more information on what these last players all are. It's all left up to M-King and PX, the Jackal and the Thermite respectively, for their teams. Plenty of time left to try and find something. These mute drones really just ruining everybody's day right now. Is actually, yeah, it's a spectator glitch. Oh wait. Yeah, we're not going to be able to see that, as we will switch over to the players, guys. We'll let you know exactly what happens, at least kill feed wise and everything else, while we do try and get this fixed. But 38 seconds left on the clock. We'll try our best to radio host this, as Sneaky Nade will find M-King. It's going to be down to a 4v1, but Chala will be able to find PX, and that's another round for Space Station, as they will go up 3-1. God damn it, Mute. Why'd you have to come and do this to us? You're supposed to jam drones, not the stream. He's extended. Those things go extremely far right now. He doesn't want anyone watching these games anymore. He's like, you know what? I've had it with all these nameless spectators watching our training exercises. I'm just going to block them out. I'm just going to mute them out. Oh, my goodness. Well, all the way from border to Montreal. That's how far those signals disruptors can go now. So it's quite a ways. Hack the planet, dude. Hack the planet. And it is looking like we are going to end up shifting down to the ventilation workshop sites. We're going to get in-game real quick and make sure, of course, that bug is not still affecting us really quickly, and then we should be heading back in game. Looks like it's good now, so here we go. Back into the game, guys, once more. Apologies for that. Thankfully, he didn't end up missing much, as it was still a relatively straightforward closeout to the round that was already down to a 43 in the favor of Space Station Gaming. They now lead 3-1 after taking control of the Armory for the second time. I guess Chala's a hacker confirmed, right? That's what it is, I guess. I don't know. Just hiding strats, you know? Yeah, it's a new meta. You don't want just mute the stream, forehead. Just don't give up information, smile. But Chala's not going to be playing mute anymore, so we won't have to be concerned about that one, at least for this round. Redeemer is still going to bring the Echo, though. He's been quite effective so far with it, especially gaining information. That's the biggest thing about Echo. You want to use those yokais as much as possible to gain information. They're not just for plant denial. They're a mobile drone for the defense that you can rotate with your roamers to try and find offenders and help out those roamers try and get informative gunfights.
Again, it's going to be a bit of a slow start here for Immortals. It's like they are going to try to jump in and take quick control of CCTV, though. Nafi's already on the inside through the balcony doorway and is going to rush his way directly in and take control there. As for the rest of the players here on Immortals, it looks like they're probably going to follow suit relatively quickly. You can see M-King moving in here in just a moment to regroup. They've got Navi's doing a little bit of droning work on the other side of the second floor right now. You can see his drone in the distance. We do have one running away, and there's the nice track that actually goes off onto that player. They are going to try to isolate him out on the other side of the site. I believe that might be Bosco that they might have got the scan onto. He's roaming around right now inside of the office.
Still like to see a little bit of adjustment in operator lineup. It seems that M-King really hasn't been too effective on the Jackal. The Jackal footprints really haven't played into much of anything, at least operator kill-wise, or real information. I mean, they are getting the operator of, obviously, who he tracks, but if they switch over to an IQ, you definitely see them having some effect on these yokai drones of Redeemer that he's been doing so well with so far. The spray is going to come out, and it will be confirmed by Chala's. Rampy will get a little bit of damage. That will surely be an assist for him. So it looks like things are pretty spread out for Immortals right now. 2 over on the west side and 2 over on the east side, as M-King is standing inside of Fountain, trying to see if he can find Chala, trying to rotate out of the backup archives.
Rampy again, still waiting for that push to come in, as you were mentioning, through archives right now with support inside of those archives itself by Chala as he continues to wait into the corner. Again, he was tracked out earlier, so he hasn't really been able to move too much throughout the course of this round, but still is holding a very safe position in the corner anyway, looking to deny any push in from the balcony with those toxic charges should the need arise. Oh, it's Thinking Nay, though, that gets caught in a bad timing on his reposition. M-King already ADS'd in directly onto the door. Navi's is going to have similar luck as he's able to find Chala, but the response coming in from Rampy on a quick rotate. However, he too is caught out by a quick adjustment. M-King committing to the push inside of Archives quickly trades him back down to the ground, leaving us in a 3v2. Advantage to Immortals. Obviously still a little bit detached though on that second floor, but with 40 seconds left, we're going to need to see them regroup quickly and get ready to go for a fast execute. Thankfully, they've only got one player on the site to deal with. Bosco is still roaming around, trying to get the maximum amount of use out of his goo mines.
Redeemer going to play the long angle here with his ACOG. Light's going to help him out just a little bit over there in the corner. Bosco going to get smoked out, though, as they will be able to confirm that he is on metal. Going to rotate inside for B. This could be stopped by Redeemer here if he gets the proper shots, but it doesn't seem like he's going to find him as he does spray through. And he's actually going to get shot in his feet more than likely here. He's going to rotate around. Will we be able to find him with the bearing? No, M-King going to be able to take down Redeemer. It's going to be all left up to Bosco. Him in one goo mine, possibly an impact grenade, but it's not going to land on anything. He's just pull that pin. Rotation over inside. This is where Jackal's going to come up massive, but no, M-King's going to get his head removed for him. No longer will that Jackal track affect Bosco. About halfway through the timer on the diffuser, going to have to act fast is Bosco if he wants to try and clutch this up, but post plant's already been set up by Immortals, and they will find Bosco. So that's going to be round number 2 on offense for Immortals. So far, a pretty clean set by both of them. Adjustments on both sides, really helping out both of these squads.
Definitely had to work for that one, too, considering the amount of time that they got stalled just outside of the Archives room, which they were really looking for control over a large part of that round. Thankfully, they were able to get the trades going into their favor by only a one-man advantage, to be fair. Like I said, we're going to be looking at a lot of close rounds in this game, and that was definitely one of them up until the point where we had Immortals to finally take control of the site. That's when it definitely started to shift much more into their favor. Space Station ultimately losing those upstairs rooms was the beginning of the death bell for them on that round. So we will see Immortals pick up the second, taking us into the 6th and final round of the first half, after which we are going to see Immortals jump onto the defense and Space Station onto the attack.
And actually, the biggest keynote for me on that round is actually the patience of Immortals on that upstairs attack. I know we love, talking about the Brazilian teams and how aggressive they can be, but their patience right there to wait for someone to slip up upstairs was huge.
It's a big change even from what we were seeing at the beginning of the game, where they were kind of just running through their executes whenever they were limited on time. Now they're not necessarily doing that anymore. They're okay to stress the time a little bit more if that means that they're going to, as you were mentioning, wait for someone to adjust, make a mistake. I think the biggest example we saw that with Thinking Day, who got caught in a pretty massive rotate. I think he was trying to run into Archives to assist there, but it was M-King already aimed in on the Archives doorway that was leading in from Office that found a very easy kill as a result of that. And again, that's just the nice patience from them. Right now, Immortals are doing a good job of adjusting their pacing to line up with Space Station's playstyle.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to put a little bit of weight just on Redeemer right there, just due to the fact that it really didn't seem like he was trying to rotate his yokai drone around to try and gain that information. If they had that information inside of Fountain, definitely could have helped him out just a little bit, but it seemed like he was more or less concerned about the downstairs area, them trying to go for sight. But, you know, you live and you learn. It happens. Not everyone is perfect.
A lot better utility usage, I think, in these later rounds coming out from Immortals as well, compared to what we were seeing at the beginning, where they were relying pretty much just on intel that they were getting from their droning pretty much alone. Whereas, obviously, now we're seeing fully set executes even just to take control of some of the less important rooms across the map. Using things like the Incandelas, like we were seeing, to take control of CCTV 2 or 3 rounds back, that worked out great for them. Was a great example of them increasing their utility usage to just guarantee they're going to have a successful execute.
Cyber, using a little bit of hardcore off the roof to knock his way down to the ventilation. See, we'll get in a couple gunfights as he tries to close down the back of Archives, and he's going to do so as everyone will rotate out. Looks like this is going to be mostly just him, as M King's going to rotate his way over to the top of Metal, looks like, as everyone's going to start to drop down for SSG. Yeah, they are going to just more or less focus on the upstairs take once again. Shala now getting Jackal tracked, and this Jackal of M King's actually been a little bit more effective since the last round, as there is only 2 people upstairs. It's going to be Rampy as he does hop inside of the mini office. As you see M King start to motion his way up to Beepers. Rampy might be punished here, but he's not the one being tracked. It is Shala, as he does still have 2 of those toxic babes on his person. Rampy dropping all of his ADSs inside of Mini, trying to keep Shala alive so no one can nade him out the back of lockers.
Oh, Rampy once again. That's always frustrating. Trying to pop open the window that's inside of the armory desk right now. Get rid of that pesky piece of wood before he could actually have some vision, but he does have it now to try and spot an additional push. PX, in the meanwhile, nearly actually having a shot lined up for himself there, which is a little bit too late on the peak itself. The flashbangs going in. Both look like they are going to connect. But a spam fire coming back in from the SSG members. And here we go. Here come the Candelas. It's time for Space Station to panic. And look at this as well. Navi's going right on flank watch after he throws those in. That's a teammate right there. Meanwhile, PX and the rest of Immortals will push themselves in. Navi's actually had intel, it seems like, just absolutely destroys Redeemer. Thinking nade Rampy, and thinking nade once again bring it back, but Navi's will attempt to save it. Moves himself in. He did get Guman in the process, though, so he's got to take a moment out of this fight in order to correct that. We're down to a 2v3. Advantage to Space Station, but only slightly. However, the key point, they still have the upstairs. Guys on Immortals do not. Shala creeping down the main stairs, finds another pickup. Bullet will be able to get the plant somehow, sneaks that in, but now locked into the 1v3. He's got a lot of work to do. A good start, however. Finding Shala, it's over to the pistol as he's out of ammo on his main weapon. Walks right up into a second, triggers a Gumine note. He's going to be in trouble for a moment as he needs to get that out, but where's Rampy? He's nowhere to be seen. I just saw his cell. He's on the other side of the map right now. He's got to make a mad dash in, and unfortunately he's not working with the greatest amount of intel either here. He just got to take a guess as to where he would be. He'll start the counter defuse. I don't know if Bullet heard or not. He'll rush out. Seems to have realized it, gets Rampy off it, but it won't matter as we see Bullet closing down the 1v3 and giving the round to Immortals.
A very hard-fought match down here for Bullet, as well as the Ying. That was absolutely insane. Navi's on that Ying, making some massive plays here. You okay? You need a breath? You good? Oh, man. Blue was going a million miles a minute there, ladies and gentlemen. But after that very hard-fought round by Immortals, we're going to tie it up 3-3. For those Brazilian fans at home, I know you guys are definitely happy about that one. SSG just kind of running out of stuff there at the end, honestly. They had a very good counteractive plan to try for that retake. It just really didn't work out for them. You guys saw the commitment from the hatch. They even had vertical angles still being played by Rampy upstairs, but that quick thinking by Bullet, able to clean that one up on the Thatcher, really sealed the deal there for Immortals. We'll see if they can make that exact same thing happen here as they go on the defense. And they're going to start things off in a very predictable location. They're going to actually, I believe they're downstairs.
No, I think it's, is it? It was selected.
Oh, no, it is.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to say, because I saw Armory Lockers.
Yeah, I saw it, but I was like, yeah. Anyways, like, very predictable location. Oh, wait, no, it's downstairs. That's what, no, Armory Lockers.
I mean,
chosen for Immortals.
It would definitely be rare, right? But it wouldn't be too far out there. It would throw the attacking team off a little bit, I feel like. But this site is still by far the preferred starting site, just with how easy it is to defend it in comparison to everything else.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me right now is going to be the fact of how much utility the offense is bringing, especially inside of Thinking Name and Bosco. We're going to have IQ and Thatcher. It's going to be a massive thing. Mute, though, getting picked up by PX, and that's going to affect Charles' utility just a little bit. But the whole thing is have to be relatively close to a mute jammer in order to not get your phone ringing. And also there's no echo on the defense. There's a lot of information going to be brought from Navi's on the Valkyrie, as well as some denial from the other operators.
Well, again, it's a slow start for these guys. The Space Station, of course, will be taking their time with things to clear out and just knock out a few of the easy default cameras they can find from the outside of the building, just to give away as little intel as possible. The members of Immortals now who are going to be playing. Actually, it looks like pretty spread out. We'll take a look again at the top-down view here and see how exactly they're going to be looking to split their players up. We've got Cyber actually holding inside of CCTV. M-King extended out into the office a little bit as well here to play out for that. And it actually looks like Immortals, at least when it comes to the second floor, definitely have a pretty spread out presence here. They're looking to deny as much room as possible for SSG, but SSG has their own roaming presence coming in, or their droning presence, excuse me, starting to come in here. And it definitely looks like with 2 or 3 drones checking this area out that CCTV is going to be the initial goal here for SSG.
And Immortals starting to extend that patience as they are just kind of showing face and backing off, making SSG question if they do want to try and take over this section of the map. Rampy's actually going to dedicate himself downstairs, see if he can find possibly a Polish or someone under line, as he will drone himself in from the main door. Bullet going to start things off though for Immortals on the thinking nade. That means no more Thatcher, no more of those EMPs to try and help out. There is nothing to stop them from getting any hard destruction though, except for PX, which can be handled by Bosco from underneath, or if they use Rampy's soft destruction to try and blow up one of those signal disruptors. But so far, SSG moving pretty slowly, and Immortals now giving them much room to breathe. Yeah,
like we said, with the very spread out amount of control that Immortals went for on the top floor, it seems like they've done a good job of denying mostly everything that SSG wanted to accomplish in the early round here. So only losing Thinking Nade and doing pretty much no damage on the return, except for Navi's losing about 5 or 10 HP. It's not going to leave SSG in a very comfortable position. Look at this, they're still spending a whole lot of time droning this out too. They just have a focus around CCTV in that west balcony, and if they can't get in from here, which we're only going to just now start to see toxic bases in, so it's going to be very hard for them to get in here, they may not even have a chance at a plant. Timer might just end them here.
Yeah, Timer might just end them. And another thing, there is 2 nitro cells on the people that are very close. And they've literally moved all of the troops over to this side of the map on the west side. This spot by M-King. Beautiful, beautiful shot.
He could just stay here, right?
From here. Yeah, you can angle the door from here as well, from underneath the hatch. Very peculiar angle that people don't check. You're not going to look for somebody aiming at you from the ground, especially from a hatch. Navi's going to find Bosco, though. Now we'll take out the clutch master himself. Chala going to catch a nade, or excuse me, a nitro cell. Second one not going to make any contact, though, as Rampy will find 1, but a Redeemer's going to get taken down. Rampy going to find 2. Can Rampy find 3, ladies and gentlemen? Only 8 seconds left on the clock. He's going to whip out the pistol. No, he's going to get countered by Bullet, as well as a man chilling inside of the hatch. As you can see the smoke just dancing on top of the server.
So, unfortunately, the lack of control upstairs and across the map in general leaves Space Station Gaming with very little room to execute, and of course, obviously very little time as well. And the fact that they hadn't really pressured that western armory wall up to that point allowed for all 3 toxic babes to stay alive throughout the course of that round, along with the 2 nitro cells that came in towards the end there. One of them, of course, found a kill. Just a no-win situation, unfortunately, for SSG, as they'd been denied when they tried to take control of CCTV or any other part of the top floor.
Massive thing for Immortals on that one was their information game, especially with that Valkyrie. They were able to rotate all of their players over into Armory lockers to try and prevent that push. Those black eye cams coming up massive right there, especially being able to deny the information game of the offense as well with that mute. They had no idea what was going on inside of offices. They all stack inside of CCTV, let the timer get down to the point where they really can't make an adjustment if they want to, so they have to try and force Armory lockers, which is exactly what you do not want to do when the defense has so many explosives, as shown by Chala catching one of those. So 4-3 in favor of Immortals, as their defensive set's looking pretty good right now. SSG is going to have to make an adjustment here, otherwise Immortals looks like they might just keep running with it.
Well, obviously the first site is the easiest, so we shall see if Space Station will have a little bit of a better time now that Immortals' own defense will be tested slightly more. Heading over to the workshop for the second site, I would imagine. Didn't actually get to check it, but yep, that's where we are, right below the armory, which means we're probably still going to see a lot of play here in the archives of the armory, as it oftentimes very much determines if the attackers will be able to easily get control of the sites on the first floor or not. Since we obviously have the destruction that can come in from there.
Yeah, we'll definitely agree with this. Wise man once said, first time's a mistake, second time's a coincidence, and third time's a pattern. So we'll see if they're going to be able to ramp this up a little bit and possibly take this entire set, or at least for the first map, on defense. SSG seems like they want to do a little bit more of the same, as they will start looking inside of CCTV, but Cyber will see Redeemer's drone. So SSG appears that they do want to start on the southwest side of the map once again.
It looks like it's going to be a slow lead up for the most part here for SSG. Once again, Cyber trying to get to deny any tells possible. He wastes no time abandoning ship inside of CCTV, though. As soon as he gets spotted out by a drone, there wasn't even really any nearby players from SSG that could have pressured him, despite him being caught out with a drone, but he wants to take no chances here. He'll immediately fall back downstairs.
Well, it's kind of been their main mantra the entire time they've been on defense so far, is kind of just show face, back off, show face, back off, show face, back off. Okay, you have no time. Okay, now we kill you. They don't want to take the gunfights, especially with Cyber being on that Legion. I know fully that he wants to try and get as many goo mines on the map as possible. Space Station likes being aggressive. Aggressive when it's under that minute marker, especially with Rampy. If he's able to find any pathway into sight, he will take it. So those goo mines are going to play a big part of that. Only bad news for them is that they do have Bosco on the IQ, which could definitely take out quite a handful of those goo mines.
So we do have a Rampy. Looks like he's going to be moving in conjunction with Chala, who will be checking out that main hallway around the corner.
Oh no.
Cyber's got a great lineup for this though.
Oh.
Like before he was potentially going to get both players, the phone call nearly saving Rampy's life. He notices it just too late though. So Cyber is allowed to come in, poke for a kill, taking out the Buck as well, most importantly, and then safely falling back. We'll continue to chuck those little mines and continue to annoy Immortals, or excuse me, continue to annoy Space Station further and further.
So once again, Immortals playing the long game here. Nobody wants to get, overzealous or overconfident, get taken out. PX going to find one of his own though. That's going to be Chala. Chala will get a little peeky as he will get found. PX going to find yet another one. That's going to be Redeemer. No more Thermite. Thinking Nate and Bosco, the last two alive. Speaking of which, Bosco will go down as well. It's all left up to Thinking Nate as he is rotating through Passport and into Customs. It's going to be a gunfight against Cyber as one of the as one of the goo mines will go off. Smoke going to dedicate himself through towers, but he's going to see Valkyrie as well. He's going to flip around, but no, Cyber will find him with a pistol. And that's going to be yet another round for Immortals as he's going to check to see if the C key will work. And it indeed does.
Nicely done by Cyber over the course of the round, really just running circles around the guys from Space Station. Obviously is able to quickly ditch away when he gets droned out inside of the CCTV room, but then is still able to find impact with another kill later on in the round, and then I believe a follow-up as well towards the end of it. So great stuff coming out from him, along with the rest of Immortals so far. This is looking like a very one-sided defense in their favor. Space Station really struggling, to knock out this roaming presence, first of all, which is something that Space Station themselves weren't really able to do that well when they were on defense. And then besides that, again, just never leaving themselves really enough time to accomplish anything if they can even get to that point.
Well, honestly, it's the lack of droning. That is really what's punishing them right now. They're trying to take control of sections of the map that they really don't have that much information on, or they have one drone committed to. And this entire style of play so far by Immortals has been a hit-and-run style of play. And they're letting SSG kind of come into the fold of what they're doing. Immediately just give them a little tappers, go, hey, I'm here. They leave off to another section of the map where they have no idea where they are. There was no drone presence downstairs when Rampy got killed, ladies and gentlemen. They had no idea what was going on inside of Customs. He did shoot a drone when he got down there, but they weren't know where he was. Yeah, no one saw him. So
some good movement from Immortals is making it incredibly difficult for Space Station to drone out as Immortals continue to change their positions in too fast of a manner, which is actually a very nice strategy for these guys to play off of. Tried to do similar things on the attack to keep the defenders guessing, but it didn't work nearly as well. But here on the defense, it's worked perfectly. The opening two sites of Immortals' defense placed them only 2 additional rounds away. And one of those is more than likely going to end up rotating back up to the armory lockers. So if they can close out this one, they're only 1 round away. And on the easiest site, they could close out this map in a 7-3 fashion if we don't see Space Station waking up here soon.
I think, honestly, SSG's biggest deal right now is their drone economy. Like, it doesn't get talked about too often, but what will be talked about is Rampy's actually going to get traded out from a nade. And thinking Nade going to find Cyber, as Cyber committed himself outside to take out Rampy. But Rampy's going to find a death from the grave. You don't really see that, or excuse me, a kill from the grave. You don't see that too often inside of Rainbow Six Siege when someone dies and then kills somebody immediately after. Happens in other games, but not really inside of Siege. More or less, you're just going to see trades. But speaking of trades, none is going to come out for Navi's as he does take down Redeemer. M King, as well as one of his compadres, will sit inside of Customs as SSG is trying to pick it apart. They don't have any more soft destruction unless Bosco has brought breaching charges, so the Morales is going to have to fire through soft wall and see if they can find anybody. Very spread defense still by the Immortals, as Chala will find M King, and that's going to clear out one of the sites. But again, they do not have any soft destruction. Can we actually switch over to Bosco, please? I'd really appreciate that. I want to see if he has breaching charges, see if they can get inside. He does have breaching charges, so they can still get through these castle barricades if needed, as well as make a couple other lines of sight. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Nade that we did see tossed over the walk back over there towards jail was again meant to counter out the player that would normally come an impact trick over that same wall to stop the thermite breach from happening. So not only guarantees you knock out the wall, but you've got a pretty good chance of getting a kill on top of that too. So it's a good start for the guys on SSG. Unfortunately, we are going to see that Nitro Cell go right into the glass, will not find the impact that it was looking for, and Bosco will take out Navi's in the process. Chala now in position to go for the plant. Bullet trying to make a direct push into the face of two SSG members means he will get eliminated very quickly, giving Space Station their first round on the attack.
You don't see the SMG 12 too often anymore just because of the recoil, but it is still such a fantastic weapon in close range. 33 bullets in that SMG. Shoots just about the same speed as the SMG 11, if not a little bit faster as well. So if you can get that sight line on somebody in close range, we'll absolutely melt. I do think the biggest thing for SSG on that last round there was that they played the long game. They weren't overzealous. They didn't try to push too hard, even though, you know, when it got down to the chips on the table, it was getting very close. I think the spread defense there by Immortals is really what punished them. They tried to keep people upstairs to keep the vertical angles alive, but the biggest thing would have been trying to play the trade game, get it down to where it would be either a 2v1 or a 1v1, try and clutch it out. But as of right now, Immortals still in the lead, 5-4.
Cyber's roam game, which was, especially the second round, really quintessential to, at the very minimum, delaying SSG from getting to his site, was not nearly as successful as previous rounds too. He still got the 1-for-1 trade on the run out there, but he had two that he could have potentially picked up in that situation. And that, on top of the fact that they did find the kill with a nade that was tossed in to counter out the impact trick, allowed for SSG to have a pretty good advantage right from the start of that round as well. So they make things easier on the closeout for them. But, of course, with the 3-round rotation being completed, Immortals can now go back upstairs into the Armory Archive site, which, as we saw before, Space Station truly struggled with. Now, this is an easy fix, though, because Space Station were just a little bit too focused on their play towards the CCTV area of the map, and we're really banking on that in order to follow that up to their eventual execute. And because that wasn't so successful, obviously, and because of the fact they didn't have any pressure on that western wall beforehand, they just didn't have enough time to get themselves in. All they really have to do is throw a little bit more pressure, even if it's just 1 or 2 players trying to bait out some early toxic bait or something like that towards that western wall, and they should have a much easier time, even if they run into the same issue they did at CCTV on that first round. Obviously, with the mute still in check and them having droning issues in the past rounds, that could lead to the same situation happening again here. Just a general lack of intel and an unknowing of what's going on across the inside of the second floor here, where we saw Immortals splitting their players up before. It looks like they've done the same thing again, as they've got a nice spread out hold here, looking way more to shut SSG down before they even get to the site, rather than playing for the end game and preventing the plan.
Bosco still sticking on the IQ, which he did mostly during the match yesterday, and he's going to find one, but to get immediately traded out by Doc, being paid by Bullet, is Chala. Will ring everyone's phone, so you guys better answer that before something bad happens. Typically how you feel about those logic bombs. Ramby going to playing some vertical angles from underneath, actually, as he's going to commit an nade, but Immortals is long gone. That's not going to find anything. This has been one thing, though. These rounds have started very, very quickly. There's always an initial pick around the 2-minute mark, which is something you don't see a lot when people are trying to play those longer games, you know, information game, try and just get everything down to just site execute, site execute, site execute. This so far has been a lot of trading on both sides, especially from Chala as well as Redeemer.
Well, again, time will start to force the SSG members to the inside of the building. CCTV has been abandoned this time by Immortals instead of a direct hold on, but the mid-hall still could cause issues for these guys if they are not careful. This is where they ran into problems in the last round too. I believe ended up losing Thinking Nade, which led to that eventual 5v4 push. Charles going to set himself up here. Remember, he still has 1 logic bomb to deploy for the actual execute too. They used the one before to try to fish players out, and I think it was a relative success forcing the members of Immortals at minimum back over to Archives and Office area, which that side of the map we haven't seen Space Station really pressure too much at all. So Immortals still have a lot of room to maneuver there. But with just under 40 seconds left, once again, We are going to start to see those Toxic Babes just pulled out because of the fact that, well, he can afford to do so at this point, and he won't have to worry about running out before the end of the round. Rampy, in the meanwhile, again, I believe throwing a nade on the inside of the sandwich window is not going to find success in doing much damage here. We have the attacker smokes moving their way out as well to allow them to start for a slow push in and attempt to plant, but again, same problem. You still have those Toxic Babes in there. We have Rampy moving up the main stairs, trying to make progress, but Immortals are going to read this like a book. They're too well set up for this, and Space Station have done nothing else to detach this. They've done nothing else to split this up. They will move in, thinking Nate gets one kill for himself. We'll try to force the issue on the plant. In a 1v3, though, let's see if they find him. There we go. I heard a knife or someone trying to knife there. It didn't end up working out, though. M-King works his way through CCTV, finishes off the round, and once again, a very one-sided affair here on the Arsenal site goes by the way of Immortals.
I know we were talking a little bit earlier on, actually, in this round, saying that things have been starting off pretty quickly. There's usually a pick around the 2-minute mark, whether it be a trade or just an outright pick from one of the teams. And it seems that once that pick happens, everything just slows down. Space Station really doesn't know how to come back from that. They needed to start combating that fear and trying to get some more picks, because as of right now, Immortals is just identifying where that last second push is going to come from. They isolate all of their angles, and then SSG has to play into that. It's very hard to try and combat an ACOG angle that's already being held. The only thing you can really do is pre-fire, and if you don't catch their head, you're more than likely dead.
Well, it's going to go down to Vent Workshop now for what could be the final round here, as Immortals are looking to close out 7-4 against SSG. And for them, it is their last chance now to battle back into this. Try to bring it back. Fortunately, regulation win is no longer possible for SSG. They would best bet now is to tie it up at 6-6, triggering overtime, and then they need 2 additional rounds in order to close out the map into their favor. Only the first map, though, folks. We've got plenty more coming up after this.
Nice. Wanted that camera to be a little bit higher there, but apparently really didn't get what he wanted.
Well, fortunately, Valk has a good throwing arm. She doesn't have extendable arms to retrieve those cameras on a mistake, though, so that one is going to be stuck there for the rest of the round.
Shot miss is fantastic.
No, unfortunately not. So no stretchy arms in order to get that back.
I think the main thing for SSG on these following attacks is, you know, just calm down. It seems like they're very rigid right now. I mean, every time they go to the camera, everyone's just, there's no emotions. Everyone's just trying to, you know, force their nervousness down. It really seems like this has been a nervous team so far, really not wanting to take over the certain areas of the map that they know that they can get. They have some of the most skilled gunsmen in North America on this team, Rampy and Bosco, and they just don't want to try and play aggressive against this Brazilian squad, apparently.
They do not, at least not when it comes to taking the upstairs. Downstairs, they've been a little bit more adventurous with wanting to try and force the issue against some of the roamers here from Immortals, but I think with like this play right here being the exception, we haven't really seen any members of Space trying to take the initiative within the first minute or two to try and push themselves to the inside of CCTV or the offices.
And SSG appears to be worried about if someone's going to try and nitro cell them from underneath the office, which is always a main concern. There is no pulse though, but they could play the information off of Navi's Valkyrie cam. Noah has been shot out earlier on, but sound cues still exist as they will start to delve into Armory. Shala going to start things off right. M-King going to go down as SSG has taken over Archives. Now this is really where they're going to have to be concerned about these nitro cells. They got so many people stacked up and they have not really moved just yet. Still a nitro cell on PX, so you can definitely make it happen. Look at all those bodies above him through the floor. Cyber playing the back of Armory, and he's going to be able to find one bullet as well. And Shala, as he will rotate across Armory, will be able to find another one. No, he will not. Bosco going to be able to find Cyber.
Defender is approaching a kill zone.
As Navi rotates inside of the Armory from the top of East Stairs, going to see if he can see what he can see inside of offices. PX decides to lay down inside of sight, take a little bit of a chill pill, wait for something to happen with SSG.
About 50 seconds left here as well. Immortals are still going to be in the hot seat now between PX and Navi's. Navi's, nice timing though, gets up, catches Bosco off guard to find that trade. Will try to run back under the East Stairs, but misses Redeemer out on the balcony directly behind him. Such will fall. It's down to PX. 30 seconds left, however, for SSG to get it and find the plant. PX, unfortunately not on the smoke, will not be able to delay. Also wrapping the incorrect direction right now. Almost ends up walking right out into the faces of SSG on the other side of the stairs. He will get a hard ping to help him out with a little bit of intel, and he falls into the depths of the server room. He's going to get pinched from both directions, but again, the goo mine helping him out, and an additional ping. He'll actually run all the way through ventilation room to try and help this out too, but again, gives away some sound intel in the process. He's missed that hard ping big time, and as a result, Chala has repositioned to the inside of the server room and will be able to take him down, keeping Space Station in the game.
Chala isn't talked about too often on the SSG roster just because, you know, the main three that usually get talked about is going to be Bosco, Rampy, and Thinking Nate. Those are mainly the three that people enjoy focusing on. Chala is just an outlier that doesn't get talked about too often, but he's definitely coming up clutch right now on this Dokkaebi, having some massive plays, very clutch rounds, especially that last round right there. This is kind of a do-or-die situation for them as well. 6-4, but now 6-5. They have to do it one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Ventilation room / workshop is going to be the site once again. Do not want to try their luck inside of customs on the defense. Now, the main thing for the offense is just try and find that synergy again. They did really well on their upstairs attack this time around, but if Valkyrie has a little bit of a better cam, then a Nitro Cell could come out and just completely unfold their entire offensive strategy. Really could be punishing in the proper context. But Chala actually leading the charge on his team, 9-7 so far, Rampy 9-10. He's died in almost every single round. We've only played 11 rounds so far. This is going to be round number 12. So Rampy more or less even across the board. But no echo once again for the defense, as Bullet will once again don the man that is Doc. Everyone loves to talk about now. That's mainly due just because of how powerful his gun has been, ladies and gentlemen. That MP5 with the ACOG is so good in the proper hands, and Bullet definitely is showing how he can flaunt that right now.
Stock play will continue on for Bullet. Meanwhile, for Space Station, after finally finding their courage to push into the second floor of the building a little bit earlier on in the round, they've found some success once again on their attack. And I think that's because once more there wasn't as much roaming presence there that time for the Immortals, so the droning was easier, and as a result they were able to confidently push in to the offices early in the round and take control, which then acted as more of a staging point. That's been the problem in past rounds. They failed to really acquire a staging point, whether it's like CCTV and trying to take Armory or one of the downstairs sites as well, or even just the offices like we saw in the last round. They haven't really been able to get that up until round 11. But finally that has changed, which certainly has to worry Immortals, considering they now only have one additional round to try and shut this game out for themselves. Comes the push from Chala onto the inside. In fact, they're going to drone with the push this time around as Chala moves in to directly clear out CCTV. And once more, they'll take it without much contest. Immortals are going to choose to fall back and not play for control in this room.
Activating drone.
Well, Blue, it's been a minute down and no one's dead, so that's a little bit different. So that
is true, yeah.
I mean, that's been kind of the entire story of this game so far, is there's either an initial pick by one of them or an immediate trade, and then everyone just kind of has to pick up the pieces around said dead operator.
That might be, I've noticed the Immortals are playing very close to the chest right now, except for like kind of Navi's who's extended a little bit more, which we've kind of expected. He's been that player throughout most of this game so far. But I think they might be overcompensating a little bit just to play it safe, since this is the last round of regulation. They probably want to try and get a clean closeout here. And as such, they might be, in general, trying to adapt a more passive strategy just for this last round.
Yeah, they've slowed down quite a bit. And again, it's funny because that's the main thing that everyone talks about with Brazilian rosters, is that they play so fast, they play so aggressive. This Immortals roster is playing very slow, very patient, and it is working for them. That's the main thing. I will say that it hasn't been as coordinated as it possibly could be, but it's working out for them, and that's the thing that matters. If you're comfortable in what's going on with your team, then things are more than likely going to work out. That's a huge pick there by Bullet. No more phone calls, and specifically, no more Chala to try and dig SSG out of a hole.
There's still that fear for Space Station that there is a roaming presence from Immortals as well, so I think that they've enforced that, and as such, they can afford to play passively, because Space Station still took at the same pace of this round. They're at 40 seconds, and we're only down to a 4v4, and as you can see, SSG, at least when it comes to the first floor here, are nowhere close to the site. They've got upstairs control, yes, but now they got to transition it down, and they don't have a whole lot of time to do that. 30 seconds remaining. We'll take a look and see how exactly they are going to look to change this around. In the meanwhile, Navi's was looking to go for a flank, but he's forced to go a different direction here. Took a little bit of damage from the outside, in fact. It's now stuck in the corner here at the ventilation room. The diffuser is going to get changed hands as well, but he's going to fall relatively quickly as we see Redeemer getting picked off. But again, another low time to execute situation. Navi's going to get an easy kill against Thinking Nate. Doesn't even see him in the corner. He'll push out. He's lined up some damage onto another one, but will fall there. Bosco gets the trade. He goes down to Cyber, however, and with only one player left, there's not a whole lot Rampy can do, so he's going to dive off, and Immortals, ladies and gentlemen, will take control of map number 1 of the series. 7-5 is the final score, just barely getting it done without overtime, but they will take control of Border and now sit only one more map away from a spot in the playoffs on Friday.
Very patient Immortals squad as they all give a couple hugs around, but SSG definitely looks like they want some time to think over that one, at least, as they will be going to their map next. That Border match, definitely in the hands of Bullet, honestly, for the defense. 15-7 across the board, and that's in regulation. So what a good match by him, and lots of explanation you guys can see right there by Redeemer. He's trying to see exactly what they can change up for their match. And honestly, I think their biggest thing is they just have to find that team synergy once again and play their information game. I think the main thing right now is they're just trying to play for trades, and Immortals not allowing it to happen. They're not trying to get aggressive. They're trying to play slow, play methodical, and let SSG just crumple under pressure of time.
There was almost like a non-existent fear of their roamers when it came to the way that SSG were playing the upstairs, especially in the early rounds. As we saw, it took them a very long time to even try and commit themselves to the first couple of rooms. That, as you were mentioning, was in large part to the fact that their droning was being denied because those roamers were so proficient at it. But as soon as the roamers were spotted by a drone, even if they killed it pretty quickly, they normally wouldn't stick around in the room and just reposition themselves. They would immediately fall back. And again, it's a safe way to play it because for the first couple rounds they were out there. They were taking that direct contestation, but then they changed it. They pulled it back and focused a lot more on the site in later rounds. And as such, SSG were spending a whole lot of time really, scanning these rooms left and right for no reason, and obviously led to the 3 or 4 rounds on their attack where they had to execute with 15 seconds or less left on the clock.
Yeah, it was basically like they were Vigil, but they weren't Vigil. You know what I mean? They showed their face like, hi, I'm here, and they would just disappear into the night.
Like, you've seen me, now you have to look for me, but I'm going to be gone. However, you don't know that because you don't have a second drone on me.
I think the biggest key factor for that was actually Cyber when he rotated from CCTV down to Customs, and he played in there the rest of the time and actually ended up getting a kill onto Rampy. They had a rotate setup for him down there. Their entire strat was to show face upstairs, move down to Customs, and play out the rest of your life. Very, very big plays from Immortals, and I definitely think that's going to show here, as well as on their offensive setups. They really were just isolating out Space Station Gaming and then just hitting them very, very hard and clearing out this roam game. Yeah, I saw earlier with that Ying play.
Yeah, unfortunately, the roam game, when it came to Space Station's own defense, just didn't really find much impact whatsoever throughout the course of that opening half of them. Immortals did a really good job of managing it, or at the very minimum, avoiding it. And this often led to situations where, I think in 2 or 3 different rounds, we had members of Space Station that were completely detached from the site. They were still doing roaming, in fact, when the execute was happening, and that left them in very bad positions when they needed to come in and clutch. I think we had that happen with Bosco or someone else on Space Station Gaming on a Legion in at least 1 round inside of the workshop site there. So while they were still able to control the easier sites like workshop along with the upstairs site, their armory, they were having a lot of issues with the more difficult sites because the roam game just wasn't finding enough impact.
Something for SSG to really think upon for this next thing is, again, just trying to focus on the team play. They need to try and help out their fraggers a little bit more. Set Bosco and Rampy on your front line. Try and get a couple more of those frags. Because right now, it more or less looked like the Chala show. I mean, Bosco did a couple of things. Rampy did a very minute amount of things, but it was more or less they either got traded out or it was too late for them to really shine. Chala was really the one that set the tone for that match, especially off of his Dokkaebi plays.
Yeah, now to be fair, Immortals did have their own set of issues when it came to their attacking side, but the key difference is they patched it up, they fixed it. They were playing too detached in the earlier rounds, and this was leading to them just getting picked apart, making for like 2v5 executes they had to try and go for on armor. We know that's not going to work. They kind of switched to almost a wingman system as they got further into the game, and were making sure that if, at minimum, someone was going to go into a room and get taken down, there would almost always be a trade to compensate for that because they were always playing in squads of 2 or more, and as a result of that, their roam clear was far more successful on the attacking side, and this allowed for much healthier and much higher timed executes where they had a lot more room to actually commit to them and of course correct for any mistakes that happened along the way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the second map is going to be coming up in just a couple of minutes, but unfortunately we do have to go to a break before we get to that. So stick around and we're going to be having more action in just a sec right here at the 6 Invitational.
My name is Sunshine Kim. I'm from South Korea. I work as a concept artist. It's overwhelming to be celebrated this way. I never pictured myself to be an important community member before. If there's one wish that I have, I wish maybe through my little doodles, maybe I want people to appreciate those creators who brought these amazing characters to us. An Invitational is not just to watch Pro League games, you know, it's to celebrate the entire community. I am super excited to go to Invitational. Yeah, it's my first time. I haven't been to previous ones. I'm very excited too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the 6th Invitational. It is our second group final match. Group B is closing out. We just had Group A's final earlier, where we did end up seeing our North American team close out and continue to move forward. And it's Reciprocity that was our 5th team to qualify for the playoffs this morning. Now, of course, we have Space Station going up against Immortals, where we just saw the guys from Immortals close out map number 1 on Border, and now they're heading to their own pick, I believe, on Bank for the second map.
Yeah, Bank being the second map, as you said. I think the biggest thing for them here is going to be their defensive set. They looked pretty good on defense on Border. That's what they started off on. But again, Immortals being able to make that transition. And it was honestly the operator switch up. Originally, they were having a lot of solo ops, whereas, you know, Thermite needs people to try and help him out. And they really couldn't find any progression with that, just for the fact they had nobody to try and take out anything that SSG was throwing at them. They had the Bandit, they had the Mute, everything to try and counteract what the Thermite was trying to do, and eventually making the switch over to Thatcher, and everything getting a little bit better for Immortals. So I think that if SSG can really try and lock down their defensive setup on Bank, we will see an SSG victory for this map and be going to map 3. Now, this is SSG's choice of map, ladies and gentlemen. Immortals' choice was Border. I almost said Bank again, but Border. So, you know, in a righteous world, it should be, you know, SSG takes their map, Immortals takes their map, we go to a map 3, see who wins it. But obviously, we've seen a million other different things happen before. But we are going to have the stats underneath us right now, as Immortals has actually won this map 4 times and banned it 7. SSG won 1 and 1 and has banned it 5 times. So those are some very peculiar stats, honestly.
Definitely the case. You think with that many bans, the record wouldn't be as good for Immortals. Maybe it's one of those situations where a team is just really good at the map, but they don't like it personally. So I've seen that happen in a few different games where a team is really good on a map and they just and I asked them, like, why don't you guys play this more? Why do you keep permabanning? It's like, we just don't like it. We don't like to play on the map. We don't really feel comfortable on it, but we just win every time.
We just win.
We just somehow win on it. So it may be one of those situations for sure. Or again, it could be what we were talking about in the past as well, where a lot of teams are bringing out their more banned maps that they had getting banned out of the pool during the course of the Pro League season earlier this year, and earlier, of course, last month, as they had those Super Weeks get played out. But now in the break between then and Invitational, worked on them a little bit more, brought them into the pool, and are now ready to bring the strats out at Invite itself.
Well, apparently from those stats, I would say the reason that SSG is taking Immortals here is because they have a lot of VOD on them. I would say definitely that. 4 wins is definitely going to prove at least what Immortals' idea of Bank is. Every team kind of has a different way of handling a map. As you guys can see, SSG's was a little bit more, okay, we're going to try and just make some solo plays on Border. Really didn't work out for them. Immortals playing the long game, very, very information-based as well as just time-based. and that really just didn't work into SSG's favor. But it might be the fact that they know exactly how Immortals likes to play Bank, so they feel a lot more comfortable, even on a map where they are 1-1-1 and have banned it 5 times. So, or it's that, or they just have some secretive strat no one's ever seen. It's a very hush-hush thing. No matter what, we will be getting into Bank right now to see if they have anything up their sleeve, Blue, as we do jump into our second map of the day, as well as SSG and Immortals. Ladies and gentlemen, strap in, grab your popcorn, as fireworks are about to happen as we get into the ban phase here. First ban going to Immortals.
And they've already chosen it. Pretty straightforward, which means this should just be their own personal ban pick. And there we go. It's going to be Glaz, knocked out right at the start. No thought even required for that one.
Yeah, Glaz is kind of a no-brainer. I mean, look, it's on offense right now, it's pick your poison. Do you want to try and deal with Ying, or do you want to try and deal with Glaz? On a lot of these maps, you do not want to deal with the Glaz because it's long-range gunfights, and trying to long-range gunfight an LTS rifle is not something one you do. But we're not going to have either of them. We're going to have Ying and Glaz both banned here on Bank, which actually really isn't surprising because Glaz is really good at server takes as well as just really playing anywhere on Bank because Bank has a lot of long sight lines. And Ying is very good in those close quarter gunfights, especially inside of the red sprinkler hallway. Valkyrie going to come up next for Space Station Gaming.
Again, another personal choice for Space Station Gaming. They're just not wanting to have to deal with the extra intel you have to deal, especially when it comes to outside on this map. I think, like you mentioned, it has been limited slightly from when it was buffed during USN, but some of the cameras that you can use on this map are very, very powerful and provide you with way too much intel. So that's, I think, a personal choice for SSG, just not wanting to have to deal with that.
Yeah, prior to the nerf, she was literally an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Like an elite NFL quarterback. That girl could throw 100 yards. It was insane. Some of the border cams that I saw while she was still on that patch were literally insane. You could hit that outside concrete barrier over on the far side of the map by AC. You could literally just go to the window and just chuck it at the top of it. It was absolutely insane, but good thing we got that patched up. Well, as we are going to be jumping into our first 6-pick phase, we are going to have Bullet go from Mute to one of Mute's brothers, Smoke.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into it here. Let's take a look and see which team will be able to come out on top of this one. Can SSG rebound on their own pick, or Immortals with a 5-0 record on it currently? And they're just going to sweep right through, take the 2-0, keep the hopes for Brazil alive as the only team so far to potentially make it through to the quarterfinals. Of course, we still have the one more after this as well. So we're going to be seeing Team Liquid play out against Market. That'll be a rematch from their opening group match, and should be very exciting to see the conclusion of that one, which of those two teams will be moving forward into the quarterfinals on Friday.
Mira being a usual ban for most teams on Bank, but this time she will make it through as a Valkyrie, as well as the Echo got banned, as you guys can see at the top of your screen.
5 seconds left before insertion.
That is such a handy thing. I'm so happy that they added that at the top of the UI for everybody so they can see all the bans. Makes it a lot better for chat as well. Someone's not like, what's banned? Why are they not playing Glaz? Where's Lion?
Well, we know the answer to that one.
Yeah, he's currently locked inside of a vault. They're feeding him through a slit in the door.
For all of his rage, he's locked. Not a cage, but quarantine.
He's like Hulk. You just gotta lock him away. But
we'll see him soon.
Exactly.
Ubisoft are taking care of him right now.
Southeast.
Teaching him a lesson for his sins against Siege.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I'll let him out in about 3-4 months, my best guess. We'll see on that one. Obviously not any accurate info right now.
You have broken competitive. We will vault you. As Jaeger will be tracked by Bosco. Bosco going to be playing the Jackal. Challen not going to be playing the Dokkaebi anymore. He's going to take up the mantle of the Maverick.
Of course, already still with good control over square here. Going to start to look, see if they have the usual player playing on the inside of the server stairs, and they will have it. It's Bullet. I don't know if he's been spotted yet, but there's always room to assume that he's here. And in fact, with already the hatch being breached, he does not want to stick around there any longer. He hightails it right back to the inside of CCTV's site, where he will play out and wait for the execute, as we often do see on this site for the defenders. We also have M King, of course, on that usual pulse, which will hide in his nice vault of gold, where he can get plenty of info on the server push.
This offensive lineup that SSG is bringing reminds me a decent bit of Fnatic setup on Bank when they played FaZe, with the Maverick being up top, making holes inside of the hatches, try and grab some angles into red, as well as popping the hatch over here inside of the mini office so they can watch inside of sight. PX We're going to see as an impact will hit. He still has that nitro cell on. I thought that was his nitro cell there for a second, which was almost a waste, but that's not going to be the case, as he actually has both of his mirror windows set up inside of Red Hallway as well. SSG stacked up for a take. They are taking things a little bit differently than the rest of the map, the rest of the teams that we have seen take the server before. Some of the teams have been bringing a Monty, moving over to that wall you guys see on the left-hand side of your screen, pushing a Monty up, having somebody plant behind him to try and bait those nitro cells with vision. But PX will be taken down. That's going to be the Mira. It's a big deal. It's going to be the last nitro cell actually used by M King, and it's going to make no contact. They still have plenty of time to bait out the rest of the smoke utility.
Yeah, the second Toxic Wave had to be used early too, because the first one didn't actually go out far enough. So he's already only down to one, and they only have one further denial. There we go. It's going to be thrown out. There wasn't even actually an attempt as far as I was aware. So we do see that smoke going down, and unfortunately, they'll still leave the members of Space Station with plenty of time to attempt to go for their plant. Rampy picking up a double kill on his own. We do see a trade from M King to finally stop him, but now it's a 4v2. Problem is, though, we still have players on the backside able to try and stop this plant, but maybe no longer. The run-in happening. Bosco has support from the top end. There comes the plant, and now in a 1v4. It's going to be incredibly difficult here for Cyber to do much of anything at all. He's already got a player just on the other side of this wall. If he tries to go in, he's a dead man. He's also got another one up on the hatch. There's just a no-win situation for Cyber. It would be an absolute miracle if he could pull off this clutch. But the odds continue to look more and more desperate here as the timer ticks down, and eventually Bosco closes out on that round, giving it to Space Station, putting them up 1-0.
SSG trying to set the tone for the rest of their bank match. As once again, this is going to be SSG's map pick. Biggest thing for them right there is they really just had free reign of the entire map. They cleared out up top extremely quickly. Actually had the entire, everyone down and focused onto site at around 45 seconds in. Plenty of time to get the wall open, try and bat out as much utility as possible, and get a few picks in the process, and that's exactly what they did. Locker CCTV room will be selected again by the defense, except this time around, they are going to have the Maestro, which I don't believe that we had last time.
No, they did not, so that's going to be a new addition. And I think, again, that's just to compensate for the fact that the toxic grenades from the smoke in the last round weren't the be-all, end-all of stopping it. Neither were their nitro cells, unfortunately, so this is just one additional layer of defense they can put on the inside of CCTV to hopefully try and stop any attempts to take down, any attempts to get the diffuser onto the ground, of course. But with Rampy on the Ash, it shouldn't be too much of an issue to take care of those when they move into the site, assuming, of course, they are not used prior to reaching CCTV.
Now for this offensive set of SSG, once again, you're more than likely going to be seeing relatively the exact same take that you saw the last time for this site, just due to the fact that you do not see too many B pushes. Out of these bombs, I would have to say is probably 90-10 on what gets planted. A-bomb is the most planted site on this, most definitely. Just due to the fact that it's very hard to get to B site and actually live.
It's like, I hesitate to say this, right, because it makes it sound bad, but it's like the only reasonable route that teams are able to take, for the most part, to get into it. Unfortunately, the risk that's involved in going the other two routes, which is either like an elevator drop or a garage push, that just has such a low success rate compared to everything else that it's just far, far safer to go with the, yes, very predictable, but also much more straightforward push through the server room.
You have a lot better chance of winning going that way. A garage take is so easy to capitalize upon, too. You have one door. You have to compete. You have
single
to
choke point, basically.
Yeah, you have to combat everybody off of one door.
Basically, even try to come in from like vault, right? It just ends up being a massive choke point at some point or another, and that ultimately is what makes taking control of the lockers that much harder.
Yeah, honestly, the thing you really want to do here is just try and gain control of servers, and somebody on a late flank phase did that quite a lot yesterday with Astro, and he came up massive quite a few times.
Well, once again, it's going to start things off with the server hatch being busted open. Start to see them just quickly drone things out to make sure no one from Immortals decided to stick around behind the main server stack. Everybody else, of course, they're focused on the site once again. The hatch being blown open. Plenty more room here for the guys on Space Station to lead towards that execute. In a moment, we should have the Thermite breaching open the second wall. They are going to go for the stair wall instead of the server wall. And pretty soon we'll start to see them crawl in, just wasting out the ADS first here so that they can get their smokes in. Dealing with one of the Evil Eyes, we'll see the first Ash charge go off. I don't know where the second one was positioned, but if Rampy was smart, he will have saved that second charge to deal with the Evil Eye if it's still in here.
Now the biggest thing, guys, is look at the timer up top. You guys see how much time is left for this offense to try and bait out these utilities. This is the issue with teams on bank. You want to try and have a roam.
Blow that one up.
Yeah, exactly. Don't blow yourself up, PX, please. Please. Especially while we're on you. I don't want to do that. I don't want to see that. Smoke grenade going to come out, and it's going to smoke off the mirror. It's going to make PX have to try and play off of sound cues, but they are not going to try and plant just yet. Redeemer, as you guys can see, is going to try and plant. Actually, Bosco's going to catch PX on a tight angle from the hatch, and that means no more nitro cell for him at least. M-King gonna have one of his own. These do still have the evil eyes if there's any inside of the server room, but it doesn't seem like they really have anything. It's all left up to Bullet and his Toxic Babes, as well as M-King with his nitro cell on Pulse, giving that information from the Gold Vault once again. They're going to smoke off the Mira once again as well, as they will try to set up for a plant. They're actually just trying to bait out utilities still. Finally, Cyber going to try and go on a flank, and this will be huge if he's able to find Chala. Chala heard the report of the 416 carbine, though, as Cyber will have to rotate back down now that he is being held off. And Bosco's going to find yet another one from the same angle. Bosco's just picking this team apart. Cyber finally going to find one, but it's going to be all left up to him. Chala down, but Bosco knows that he's upstairs. And Bosco, ladies and gentlemen, you guys, well, at least we could hear him as he screams "let's go" at the top of his lungs. SSG starting things off right here on bank.
What a solid setup for these guys to work off. I mean, Bosco, first of all, just can't seem to be stopped. It's the Immortals that are just not able to find an angle to deal with him once he gets on top of the hatch. And the dedicated flank watch to keep him fully focused on that hatch, being played by Chala on the Maverick, of course, that you saw by the stairs, is perfect. Because even if he loses the 1v1, that's a 5 or 6 second warning for Bosco to get into a better position and try to trade that kill back out, as we saw with the Cyber push at the end there. And unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like the guys on Immortals have found a way to stop or deal with this, whether it's, you know, adding additional rowing presence to like the second floor early in the round to try and catch that later or something like that. They're just going to choose that, okay, we can't win this site. Obviously playing it 2 times in a row. They're not going to want to do it the 3rd time, so they move forward to the teller's office instead.
The real thing for Immortals right now is their lack of roam game on this map. This is a massive map. Massive. That's why you guys see Bosco keep donning Jackal, just due to the fact that, you know, being able to track feet, seeing exactly where people are 5 times over and over again is very, very helpful in a map of this size. Since they have no roam game to try and delay any amount of time from the offense, it's very punishing. M-King and Cyber are the only ones with kills on their team. Navi's and Bullet have an assist for both of those kills. PX 0, 0, and 2. Don't want to see that goose egg for too much longer, but see if they'll be able to change things around here on the Teller's Archives hold, as they do have quite a unique setup. I can see from the gray screen here. SSG will actually push the tunnel, the sewer tunnel to be exact, over here by the jewelry front.
Drone's ready.
See exactly what they can do on this take. Usually when you're pushing people inside of the mud tunnel into server, you're going to be motioning up blue and just trying to get an aggressive push onto the teller's windows, trying to get an early pick or something along those lines, trying to catch somebody off of rotation. But as of right now, it is a pretty spread defense by Immortals, which is exactly what we were seeing on that border map.
Space Station, though, keeping their attack nice and good joined here as they go in for a coordinated take towards square. They're actually going to pop this open. Are they going to rush this? In they go, right into the site. Obviously, the second floor has not been cleared out, so Immortals could still cause a massive amount of issues here, but smokes are going to cover their assault as they go for a very early plant. Remember, still 2 minutes on the clock. It's not being denied. However, Rampy stops the first push. Bosco picks up a second on Cyber. And there we go. A 2-minute timer plant for the guys on Space Station, and Immortals are stunted. They don't seem to have an easy way to respond to this. Thinking Nate will pick up an additional kill. Bullet does have one below him, but he's been unable to spot it just yet. And for the others, well, it's down to just PX on a Mira and Bullet. Bullet, of course, being found out here and knocked out, and now PX left alone. A 1v5 for a Mira. I don't think I have ever seen one, at least not when it requires long-range duels here. So it's certainly going to be looking rough, and Bosco will get the easy close out through the punch hole, giving Space Station another round.
Well, I mean, when you got some phone calls and enough speed, apparently that is going to work out for Space Station Gaming. Found the rocket fuel here on border as they are up 3-0, but we saw this exact same thing the last time. They went up by quite a few rounds and then got punished as Immortals made an adjustment. Came all the way back to win border. And a tactical timeout is exactly what switched it up the last time. We'll see if their adjustments can do it once again. But so far, this offensive round by SSG has been nothing to shake your head at. Their setups have been quite fierce, especially that last one right there. As soon as I saw them rushing mud, it's like there was only one logical thing that they're going to be doing, and they're going to get aggressive on tellers. I thought that they were just going to try and go for the pick initially, and if they got the pick early on enough, they were going to try and get the bomb down, but no. There was no one inside of Archives. So like, hey, okay, we just smoke the door, have Rampy rotate over, lay down behind the bookshelf, cut off the door, pick up a kill in the castle, and then they can't do anything because there's no vertical angles made yet.
Not only that, but there's zero presence in terms of roaming power over there towards the square side of the map. Normally, you would have someone there, at least on the second floor, that would have been able to call that earlier on and start to get the players from Immortals into position a little bit quicker. But we didn't even see that. That entire half of the map was just left completely undefended for the most part. So, once again, with the game being unpaused, we'll jump right back into it.
It's got some sad news. Got some real sad news. It wasn't Parker's scarf.
It wasn't. Oh,
it was Michael's
Michael's scarf. Oh,
we thought it was Parker's scarf. Yes, yes. I sat on your scarf.
We did a whole bit thinking it was Parker's scarf, and it wasn't Parker's scarf.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Well, you guys have a fun rest of your day. Rest up your voices. Have fun. We'll see you guys Friday. Stream will see you guys Friday. But for the rest of the day, it is going to be myself in blue, as well as Flynn and Emzo. Emzo will be back today, ladies and gentlemen, so you guys are going to see them later on. But biggest thing is they're going to go even farther up the ladder. They're going to go up to CEO and see if they can try their luck once again. More than likely, this setup has been talked about in that tactical timeout. As you guys can see, PX is going to dump the castle this time around. He's going to put up those armor panels. And the one thing that I've seen across different regions with Castle is how they use him differently with his armor panels, especially on this side in particular. With FaZe, we actually saw them put up all of their armor panels on kind of the horseshoe ring that's inside of the office up here in the front office area. Saw them lock that down with the armor panels. And the most notable way that I've seen this done is they usually throw a couple up over on the kind of the half hallway sort of a deal that has the two double windows inside for you, and then they shut down a couple of the doors out on the vending hallway side. But everyone has their own way or own mantra of using Castle. As SSG will start things off over here on the southeast side once again, as they are going to toss a couple of drones inside of stock. See exactly what's going on.
So with stock already being droned out, we should be able to see the guys from Space Station moving there without too much of a delay. They're still going to focus up just to make sure they have the bottom floor cleared out as well here and won't be dealing with any surprises on a late flank to come against the members of SSG here as they push themselves to the inside. 2 minutes left, so the first minute focused almost entirely on droning here for the members of SSG, but with that time now gone away and them having found not a whole lot in terms of a threat past this, they will start to move to the inside. Now, there is roaming presence this time. There's a chance it gets droned out. It's Cyber looking around the basement on his Jaeger. And we'll see if he manages to catch anyone. There is a focus on square. This is where they weren't able to defend in the last round and what enabled Space Station to go for such a quick attack. So Cyber is going to try to stop this from happening a second time, obviously from the first floor instead of the second floor, which would have been more appropriate for that previous round.
Cyber getting aggressive on blue a little bit, and once again, the roam presence really has been non-existent so far this map. So hopefully he can get that started up for them. So far, though, they are playing a lot safer on site, and that was one of the main things that they did on border, but so far not been able to find success with it here on Bank, allowing a lot of map presence to take over for SSG, and they're going to allow that once again as they have rotated all the way over to the B side of things. As Bosco is out on the north windows, trying to close down as many angles and rotations as possible. Cyber is just lying in wait with Navis to see if they can rotate up square, find themselves a couple of astronauts. But as of right now, things really dead in the water for both teams.
Navis once again trying to hunt down what he can from in the inside of Archives. Not able to find all that much. He does get a spot onto one. Phone call is coming out, and we have the plant being forced once again successfully here by Space Station. It should go down without too much of a threat like that, but Rampy's dealing with these flanks beautifully, picking up the second kill against Navis there, bringing it all down to just 2 on the Immortals. Cyber along with M-King. Cyber who gets start, but Chala with a casual 2-tap takes out M-King, leaving it all on Cyber in a 1v4. Got 2/3 of the timer left on the diffuser before it gets knocked out. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of intel for Cyber to play with here either. He's just going to try to take it slowly, but slowly is not the way the game is played when you have that diffuser onto the ground. He needs to speed up. He needs to get towards the site quicker. He'll wrap around over towards Janitor Closet, but Rampy with that ACOG will easily beat him in a long-range duel. Another round for SSG at 4-0 over the Immortals.
And Immortals just really doesn't have an answer here on Bank for the space station onslaught. Just the astronauts really are going on a trip, I guess, man, because right now they're up 4-0. Charla is really the highlight of today's SSG roster. I'm happy to say it too. Don't get to say that too often. He's more or less the guy that does, do the information gain. SSG has been going through quite a few roster rotations as well. By roster rotations, I do mean role swaps. So, Charla definitely being able to be more aggressive on that Dokkaebi play, and an absolute monster with that SMG-12. I guess you could consider that a one-tap, by the way, because that gun shoots way too fast in order to get a one-tap. I think if you even click the button, that gun shoots 2 bullets.
Yeah.
Like the rate of fire on that gun is absolutely insane. Charla definitely putting in some work for his team, but Bosco, main man up there at the top, 8-1. Again, he has been the most clutch and most successful player so far on the SSG roster overall.
Meanwhile, we've got 3 players on Immortals with a donut right now. Navi's, PX, and Bullet yet to find a kill after 4 rounds have been played out. And Redeemer just not doing much. Just sitting there at an 0-0-0 scoreline, very casually hanging out.
Could always just open up a donut shop. That could.
He's already opening up holes as he's Thermite. So
I expect them to come back though. There's still plenty of this match to be played. We still have a maximum of 3 rounds, or excuse me, a minimum of 3 rounds if it is a 7-0. But I expect Immortals to make an adjustment at least later on. They do have every single site to possibly go to, and so it's really what they feel the most comfortable with for their defenses, and they're going to choose downstairs once again. And as we broke it down to you guys before, it's more than likely going to be a server take. You're not really going to see much of an exchange here of trying to plan it inside of the B site unless there's some unruly circumstances. But it does look like Rampy is going to be droning himself in from the front door. Now, seems like Rampy has really gained back his confidence, especially after those matches yesterday where things just were not looking too good for this superstar of a fragger. As the Jackal track will go down upstairs. It's going to be Vigil. He's going to be running right into the likes of Rampy. Is Rampy going to be able to win? And actually, it's going to be Bullet on the mute. That was tracked. Bullet thought it was Navi's there for a second, but Navi's is in another castle.
Tries to make the aggressive push out, and in general, we were talking about this, how Immortals didn't have enough roam presence. Well, now they've gone like the opposite direction, and now it seems almost like they have too much roam presence.
Forced.
Both of which have been dealt with already for the most part. Cyber is going to kind of be stuck as far as I can tell in Archives as well here, unless he's got a hatch to fall back upon.
Oh no, he's dead. Yeah. His best bet would just be to try and sprint and make it to blue stairs. But I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, Redeemer is in the top of square.
They got him locked. They know he's in there.
This is a dead man. And he's Jackal tracked. Yeah. All right, Cyber. I'm sorry. I apologize. I think the main thing on their roam game right there is that they really weren't playing together. They were playing extremely separate. They allowed Bosco, Rampy, and Charla to really just hunt them down. PX is now trying to find some aggression on the main stairs, but if he hangs around too long, he's surely going to meet the same fate. M-King trying to find a Nitro cell kill. As the hatch is going to get open, he's going to hop back in the red hallway, a little terrified of getting his coattails shot off there. PX going to get aggressive once again. This Immortals roster seems to just be falling to pieces right now on Bank.
An attempt to counter out the very fast setup, usually going towards server here from Space Station. Immortals overpick towards roamers here and end up only shooting themselves in the foot. Now they are down 2 versus 3, and Space Station haven't even started an approach towards the site just yet. The roaming Mira played by PX there is going to be found out. M-King finally starting things off well. He will have his C4 being tossed in, but the Nitro Cell will not find any impact. It's going to rotate in through the vault very quickly, and meanwhile, we will see the diffuser get planted on the ground by Redeemer, leaving M-King with a very limited amount of time to close this down, and even taking some chip damage as he walks past that spam coming from someone on Space Station inside of CCTV.
I do like how focused SSG has been on the objective play. They've had quite a few diffuses. It's got to be around 5 or 6 plants at this point in time. It's been quite a few, most definitely, but Charla's going to find M-King inside of Garage. And that's going to be 5 straight for the boys in black and yellow. Apparently they are just loading up the ship with some rocket fuel, at least for Bank. But again, if they win this, we have to go to our decider map, which is going to be Villa, if I remember correctly. Actually, no, did that get banned out? Or was it Villa?
No, Villa. I thought it was Oregon, but remember I got confused.
Because Oregon got banned out. Thank you.
I didn't see Villa for some reason on the right
it
side.
It was that little exchange that confused me. I was like, wait. In my head, I was like, is it Oregon or is it Villa?
No,
it's Villa. Most definitely Villa. So.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine. It's okay. Twitch chat was rip me apart for like, you didn't know the map. Oh man, no.
It's probably ripped me apart more than you.
That's okay.
But
either way. Navi's going to 6 pick off of Jaeger. He's going to pick up the Maestro as they do go back downstairs once again. This is going to be the fourth time they've played this spot. So we'll see if they're able to find any success here, or is the offensive round of SSG going to be a 6-0. Main thing is, if you guys saw, they're a lot happier now. Multiple smiles on the side of Space Station Gaming. And Redeemer really not having to do anything except plant the diffuser. Doesn't even have an assist. He just has to, he's there for moral support. He's the best moral support in the game, ladies and gentlemen.
He's like, all right, guys, here's the plan. I'm literally just going to open holes and plant. That's all I'm going to do. You guys do everything else. And so far, it's worked, so.
I feel like it's just like a mob boss mentality. He's got a nice cigar, just leaning back in his chair, like, all right, boys, look here. You're going to do everything, and then I'm going to plant the stuff, and it's going to work.
That's how Mafia works.
Yeah, you just plant the diffuser. Forehead.
Attackers recovered the
What level would Redeemer be then?
Level 125.
But he doesn't have any kills or anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when you're level 125. You have other people. You have level 50s.
That's right. He's got people working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You see, dude, the man has like the most spunk of any player as well. He just walks in and just demands respect. That's why he's a level 125 mob boss.
I really hope he ends this half. Which is a bit, but getting into the attack now, Rampy will start himself off with a push from the main lobby. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit on their toes this time, which is somewhat accomplishing the goal that Immortals wanted here. It's slowing down Space Station, but not anywhere near the degree that it's going to affect their overall take. A nice push onto the main stairs, though. Will do some early damage to Rampy. He's going to pop open a kill hole on the inside of the lone office to try and catch anyone if they do push up the stairs while he would be over there. But instead, will now wrap back over. There is another player playing into the server stairs as well. I think Rampy is going to try to deal with here. Now, note, he does need both of those breaching rounds to deal with the Evil Eyes, which I assume both are going to be put onto CCTV. So he's got to be careful not to try and use them too early. And I think he is very well aware of that, though, since they already pulled this move in the past. 6-pick onto the Maestro.
Once again, the exact same setup is Rampy's going to ping a drone that's going to get absolutely eviscerated on top of that hatch. That poor thing, not able to move. Minute 30 seconds in Bullet deciding this time around, I'm going to try and stick it out inside of Blue. We've been giving this up too quickly. Rampy's going to stun himself. That's not going to help out too much. Bullet, once again, going to stick inside of Blue stairs. They actually have somebody at the bottom as well. So one of these stun grenades more than likely not going to really help out. It's actually going to be Smoke that he's playing. I didn't even identify that. I thought he was playing Mute there for a second, but he's not. He's playing the Toxic Babe operator. As Redeemer's going to find his first kill. 1-0-0. Every once in a while, you gotta find one kill. Speaking of kills, Rampy's going to find one, but Thinky Nade going to find one of his own. Sad thing is, it's his teammate. Rampy's going to die in the process of that trade, as PX and Cyber will be the last two alive. No more Ash main on the side of SSG, so Redeemer might actually have to get some more kills as things go awry. Bosco going to spot out. They are trying to play the door off of his camera, while PX is currently getting Jackal tracked, which is not the funnest thing to happen. Bosco, once again, on his hatch as Cyber tries to push up the main stairs. 35 seconds left on the clock as things will start to be baited out by the offense.
Bosco again just trying to go on flank watch at this point. Cyber trying to spam in. Not much damage being done, though. Nitro Cell going to go out. Again, misses his mark, does 0 damage, only further to delay the plant. That was the only Nitro Cell that they had, so the plant should go to uninterrupted. Even worse, Cyber is caught on the main stairs, knocked out. PX is just going to full commit. It works, at least to kill the player on the stairs, but the trade comes in from Redeemer, who had done the plant. Plays the entire half, and on round number 6 ends 0-0-0, and then quickly picks up 2 kills to make it a 2-0-0 half for himself. That'll end it, however, 6-0. An absolutely dominant half for Space Station, only one more away from closing down Bank and sending us over to Villa for our third and final map.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been talked about a million times. If you guys were here earlier on today for Parker as well as Kickstar's set, then you guys will have heard Kix talk about how we're currently in a defensive meta. Redeemer's going to 6-pick off of that, by the way, guys. Don't freak out. Promise, he's going to 6-pick off of it. Kate is not allowed just yet, so we will switch over to Maestro, the other man with a beautiful beard. But again, no Kaid will be played. So, main thing is, well, actually, very exclamation point put on that offensive set there by Redeemer, as he is going to pick up 2 kills, and one of them a 180. To save his life, so he is 2-0-0 right now. He's got a 2.0 KD rating, you can't knock it.
Only shows up when he's needed, but that's okay. So, as we would expect, Space Station Gaming are also going to be starting off in the basement. I apologize for the lack of site diversity here, but Immortals really wanted to try and win that basement site, and SSG was just too darn good at it. So we're going to go back right into it once again. So now SSG are going to look to try and defend it and close the map out here. 7-0, potentially, against the Immortals. And what a way to bring themselves back into the series after having their own set of issues back on border, ones which they couldn't actually correct by the end of it. And it was Immortals that had such good adjustments to their own issues back on map number 1, but it failed to do so entirely all of a sudden on map number 2 when they desperately needed to add roaming presence. They completely overcompensate and then double back against it for one final round. Where again, the same issue resurfaces, no roaming presence, no capability to try and do damage to the members of SSG in the early round. And as such, they just walk right in on a standard execute with that two-man combo to watch the upstairs hatch. And it seems at this point to be pretty much unstoppable, as they won it 3 or 4 times in a row, something like that.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a massive day for Brazil. All of their lives are on the line. Right now, Faye has already been knocked out in the prior matchup with Reciprocity, as Reciprocity will make the main stage. That makes 2 States teams, well, North American teams, excuse me. 2 North American teams made it in. Evil Geniuses, Reciprocity so far, and the last one, as we do see them battle out with Immortals right now, SSG, as well as Immortals on the other side of things. So if SSG is able to take this matchup, that will be all 3 North American squads inside of the grand finals, excuse me, the final stage of Invite. But if Immortals loses, that means there's only one more chance to have a Brazilian representative at the final stage, and that will be Liquid. But we still have a lot of map left, at least on the next map. This map looks like might be coming to a close very soon, as Immortals will have to have a perfect offensive set to come back from this deficit.
So we're going to go for a quick roam clear here really quickly as he sweeps through the second floor. Already has himself in position on the main stairs. Rampy to get flashed, and Cyber tells him what's up as he runs right past and takes his head off along the way. Rampy is going to end up going down from that. Cyber starts us off well for the Immortals as they're looking to get back to the game quickly. Not only that, but the elimination of Chala as well leaves SSG in a relatively vulnerable position here. 5v3. We've only just gotten in for the opening round.
Minute and 5 seconds left on the clock. 2 picks for the offense, but really haven't had any site presence just yet. It's getting down to the wire and really what they can do. They do have a Nitro cell off the board, and this is going to be the biggest contender, as it actually seems like they are going to do a split push here. And we saw this on border where they had 2 offensive ops on the front and 2 offensive operators on the back, but this time they have all bodies of Immortals alive. So, the split push might have a high effective rate, as Pulse will continuously get Jackal tracked. Is that Nitro Cell going to find anything? No. Only thing that's going to find him is some bullets. Sneaky Nate going to find Cyber though on the back end, so he knows that someone else is more than likely following him up. 2 Toxic Babes still, and actually he's going to use one of them. He's actually going to pop another one. That was actually a smoke grenade going off over on the other end of things. So 1 Toxic Babe in the hand of Bosco. Thinky Nade still trying to defend off Garage, and Navis will find him, so it's going to be all left up to Bosco. Again, the most clutch-heavy player for SSG, so we'll start things off right for this clutch, as Navi's what we found. Ash is being played. He's going to hear him drop more than likely, and he's going to rip him, as PX will meet the same fate. Still plenty of life left to live for Bosco, as the diffuser will go down. It's M King and Bullet versus Bosco. He does still have quite a few shots in the SMG-11, just trying to see if any of his buddies laying down in front of that Mira, as he will hop through the rotation hole here. Once again, this is not do or die for SSG just yet. Still plenty of time for him to actually clutch this up if somebody on the team chooses to peek. The person that's going to peek is going to be Bosco, as Bullet will end his existence, and Immortal will find their first round here on Bank.
A good attempt, certainly, from Bosco to clutch it out 1v4. Gets 2 kills out of 2. Or 2 kills out of 4, excuse me. But the last 2 end up tripping him up. They're given far too much time to establish post-plan positioning. And since he had obviously run out of his RGGs, he no longer had another one to use to try and delay that plant and win it on the timer. Once again, though, it does not seem as though the loss there has phased Space Station. They're going to go directly back to the basement and try this at least one more time before switching up the site, trying to have better luck somewhere else. A solid start, though, for Immortals, given the very, very different style of things that were going down back on their defensive half. Certainly helps to reinvigorate them. Quickly leap back into the match, hopefully, to try and come back and take us to overtime. But of course, it needs to be just as flawless as Space Station's was, with 5 more rounds consecutively needed for them to trigger OT.
And Immortal's gonna pick up Finka. It better be Finka LMG. I'm just saying. It better be Finka LMG, or I'll be a little disappointed. I'm just saying. Well, everyone now has a kill, ladies and gents, so no donut shop opening today for either team, which is good. It's a good thing, even though Bullet and PX both still 1-6 and 1-7. But all comebacks have to start somewhere. They're trying to start theirs up right now as they did just find their first round of Bank. And the SSG boys will go back downstairs, feeling that the Realm presence really is what gave up that last round for them. Again, roaming on Bank is all about playing with your teammate, trying to get a few trades at least, or more or less just trying to waste time. There is a lot of places to rotate through here. The only issue is that lobby is a big no-no. There's too many windows to try and rotate through there. All it takes is one Immortals player to start up front. That's exactly what they're going to have. Cyber starting out exactly like Rampy did.
Case indeed. He's done this in the last round too, so he's going to do it once again. Just a quick run in through ATM. He'll self-drone at the start just to be safe, make sure no one's doing anything but cheesy by hiding in a corner here or something like that, or even up on top. Once he's cleared that out, in he shall go. Cyber will make the run to the inside. Clears this out relatively quickly and then wrapping back around to check for those main stairs. Take care of the default cam real quick. See, he's really checking everything he can here. He goes even for the elevator peek right there to see if anyone might be hiding on the inside. Not the case. He's not ready to fight that player at main stairs, but the fight is no longer there. Space Station have fallen back from the main stairs and instead are playing all in the basement, much like we were seeing Immortals do on their own defensive half.
Immortals speeding up quite a bit as well, so most of their defensive sets were pretty lackadaisical. This Bullet will throw out a cam. He's going to actually try and chuck it inside as he does pick it back up, I guess. So, actually, no. Rampy's going to get aggressive. Will he be able to find another one? No, it's going to get immediately traded out by Cyber as he will take down an ADS as well. Cam downstairs at the bottom for M-King as he is trying to drone out all of Cerber versus Cyber as they will move in. So, quite a bit of time wasted here. Minute and a half left on the clock, though. Plenty of time to get this wall open. They have M-King on the Thermite. They have PX on the Habana. Plenty of hard destruction to get this wall open. They just got to get him down there first. M-King also has the diffuser. The Cyber will have everyone switch out as he will go for rotation here. And as he actually rotates back as soon as I say that, just really trying to figure out who they want to rotate out and try and go for this late flank. They're going to make the choice of it being Bullet to hold down the hatch. More than likely, Cyber going to show face and make a late rotation after the diffuser gets planted.
See the plant going down here now. Of course, the pink going in, and actually, no. A remote gas grenade from the smoke. Played by Bosco is going to delay. The first of which, I think there should still be two more. In fact, there is. He's got a great angle to throw these directly on top of the plant spot. Here's number 2. Now let's stop the plant once again. Now the third one is not going to delay until 0 timer. So this is where the nitro cell comes in. It's basically going to be a 4th stoppage of the diffusal plant and should, in theory, run them very close to, if not directly, to 0 timer. One goes in. It's going to be a complete miss, but how did that happen? Cyber ends up picking off M-King, who I believe was the planter, meaning the diffuser now gets dropped. Cyber, however, completes the kill. I think he was actually going for a moment later, taking out Thinking Nade, but they also had to have Cyber run through a last remote gas grenade in order to take additional damage and try to retrieve that diffuser. He's gotten it back. He's gone for the plant attempt, and he's actually gotten it. Bullet on the top, taking a page out of Bosco's book for the last round. We'll see a 2-for-1 exchange favoring Immortals. Leave it all on Bosco now. They've gotten post-plant positions. He gets the peek against him. That's some good damage over onto Cyber. Does not finalize the kill just yet. Tries to do it with the shotgun. However, PX in the corner instead will take him down with a drop. And prone in the corner to finish off the round in the favor of Immortals, making them 2 for 2 on the basement attack.
PX ready for it, and that's another thing inside of gunfights, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever someone peeks you and they get that information on the way that you're standing, whether it be crouching, standing, or laying down, you're going to want to adjust where your head level is. Now, that's not really a big deal right now in this QEC meta, but it's a big thing that can definitely help you out inside of your gunfights, especially having out PX right there. Bosco aiming at a middle to head level. If he would have pre-fired, would not have had a single chance of killing PX. PX definitely having the upper hand in that gunfight. And they were also having to rotate sent upstairs as well to hold down the hatch. So Bosco was definitely not in the best clutching position, to say the least.
Now, we are going to see the smoke actually make a disappearance for this round as it's 6-picked over to the Pulse, in fact.
Oh, man.
Bosco a little bit of extra intel. And hopefully more success with the Nitro Cell.
There's 3 ACOGs. There's 3. We got Redeemer with the Alda, which he's been so impactful with in his past matches. We've got Rampy, and we've got Thinking Nag with the Cog brothers, the Doc and the Rook. Bosco donning Pulse as well. And then finally wrapping that out, we're going to have Chala, as you guys can look over the scoreboard, see that everybody on Immortals is starting to warm up just a little bit. Everyone getting kills across the board.
Immortals finally, as you were saying, off to a good start, finding some kills for themselves. That's where they will get tested a little bit further as we're heading over to the archive site.
5 seconds remaining.
Now, notably, they did still use that same hatch strategy that we were seeing SSG use in their own attacking half here. We're relying pretty heavily on that in order to close out the basement round. Same as SSG, to be fair. It was never counted by them. Now we'll have to see if their own plans for attacking the archive site is going to be just as strong as that rush from SSG was. They must continue to win. They cannot stop, or the game will be ceded to SSG, and we'll go to a third map to decide this series.
So far, Immortals on their offensive set, pitch perfect at least. They have picked up 2 rounds so far, but again, still a long road. Still have to find 4 more rounds, and that's a lot of time to not make a mistake. That's the biggest thing. So far, hasn't been too much of an issue, but this might be a whole different kind of beast. But now he's going to start to prove me wrong, as he will find Chala right off the bat. That's going to be the man wielding the Goo Mines Legion gone, so I'm not going to have to worry about those too much. Only possibility of having around 3 to 4 of those out is Bullets. Actually not going to be able to kill Doc. Doc's going to be able to dock himself back up. Rampy is still alive. He's going to continue to stim pistol himself to get that health back up. He now knows Bullet is playing these west windows as well, and more than likely, he's going to try to find him. Drone in as well, as he's going to try and run away. Bullet will see him and try and catch him out. Will he would do so? Yes. Rampy only going to delay a little bit of time. Half the round has now been knocked away, as Redeemer will find Nobbies on the buck, but already lost quite a bit of health as well, as the SSG health line is just not looking too good. Might want to invest in some health insurance for that.
No, the Aldo will find success, of course. Still a lot more damage to be done, and as you were saying, Redeemer finding himself incredibly low after that fight means he's going to have a very low chance, unless he finds a free kill position, to be able to pick up a second or further than that. He's got to be on point with the ult if he wants it. We do have the ping coming back out onto him, though, and that is going to finish off Thinking Nade as he tries to transition from the meeting room to the inside of Janitor. Will not be able to do that. Gets caught on the hop-up, and again, Space Station continue to just get wiped off the board, just really from good droning capabilities and some nicely timed catches from Immortals. We've already seen 2 in this round alone, with Rampy being caught on a fallback, and the same for Thinking Nade after he was spotted out by a drone while repositioning.
SSG really looked like they were just going to walk away with this with a map in hand, but it's starting to fall apart for them here on this defense. And it might almost be time for a tactical timeout. If they go this full rotation of sites, 3 rounds, not pick up at least this map, they definitely need to call that tactical timeout. You get 1 per map, so definitely a time to use it, as they know exactly where Redeemer is, so this round is not going to go the way of SSG. Redeemer having 0 health as well. An Alda and a Dream, what we would call this right now, as he is going to see Habana, but he's not going to be able to win that fight, as PX will find him. That's going to be 3 rounds in a row for Immortals on offense. Perfect time to call that tactical timeout for SSG. If you're an NA fan, that's definitely what you're going to be hoping for around right now.
Looks like that will definitely be the case, and there it is. There's the pop-up. Nicely called. Nice prediction.
That's what they know me for. It's fine.
And yeah, so as you can see, the coach once again going to be chiming into the conversation here. That is like it. They'll be adding his tactical input here, as he is only allowed to talk during these pauses here. So he's going to add his input, the things that he has noticed during the game up to this point, deliver that information to the IGLs and any specific players that he needs to talk to, and then leave it to the IGL to use that information to, I wouldn't really call it a comeback, but just close out on that final round that they need to win the game. It looks like whatever they're talking about, it relies on the basement site, as they are going to go back down there in order to try and finish this game off yet again.
You've been very good on analytics today, by the way, so I'm going to ask you a question.
What's up?
What do you think is the key for victory for SSG? Why is their defense falling apart here on Bank?
It's honestly coming down to pretty similar factors from what we were seeing from Immortals, is a lack of roaming presence, but it's a little bit more difficult from the Immortals, as the Immortals have some really good droning going on right now. So I feel like it's gonna be very difficult for any roamer to find any sort of impact unless he goes to a really unorthodox position and just waits for an opportunity to jump onto the members of Immortals when they're not looking for him. Which, again, that's been a very rare occasion. Immortals seem to be a very drilled squad today, where they almost always have a dedicated flank watch set up. So unless there's a very chaotic situation, I don't even know if a roaming presence from SSG is going to be able to find much impact because of how on point with their flank watch Immortals have been on the attack.
I think it might have to be one of those instances where they just have a little bit of a different setup. The main thing is, especially inside of Pro League, that you have to have utility behind your roamers. You can't just send somebody somewhere and go, hey, live for me. That doesn't work. The only operator that kind of works with is Vigil, because you don't know exactly where he is at all times. But the main thing is they have a Jackal, so you basically know where he is at all times. So all you have to do is be like, hey, he walked through lobby in prep phase, we can go get his footsteps.
And this probably explains why we haven't seen a Vigil come into play for the defense, is because they're aware of the fact that the Jackal is there, and they're thinking that, considering how, like, yes, we could counter the droning with a Vigil, but as you had just said, the Jackal is going to immediately counter that out as well. There's no point, unless I somehow find a way to immediately hide my footsteps and just basically park away in one side of the map where he wouldn't be.
Well, you can always go the Caviera route, but
we know how that's working.
Yeah, we know how that's going to go.
The first Twitch drone, I think it actually did pop one of the windows. We could go see back down there again in just a moment here. It won't get taken out, but like I said, if it managed to take out a window, I think that our Twitch player, Navis, is going to be okay with that exchange, given that it's knocked out a very powerful piece of utility that Space Station looked to have in this site here.
Cover me! Reloading!
Navis will be pushing down Blue Hall, and again, excuse me, Blue Stairwell, as you guys can see. We're about to check out that mirror window right now, ladies and gentlemen, in front of Bosco. Did he get it? I don't believe he.
Can we turn it?
It's red hallway. Did he pop that mirror?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
he
did. He did pop it. He did indeed.
Oh yeah, they did one inside of lockers instead to kind of half compensate for it.
Yeah, but they're giving up map presence right off the bat. This is really just a walk-in for Immortals, and the main thing for that is just going to be preset drones. If you're able to set up drones where you know no one's really going to be roaming, especially on the staircases early on, you're like, okay, no one really rotated out. They already rotated it back down after they reinforced hatches. It's easy peasy. You literally just walk straight to the server wall, open it, and start baiting utility. The main thing for them, SSG right now, and especially overall, they just need someone to have a late rotation that's successful. If they're able to get a late rotation off that's successful, then they're going to be able to find a win. Because look at this time, guys. 1:18. Smoke's already being dedicated by SSG. This is just not... It's not a fun time. Redeemer literally sees everybody and their sister on this cardiac sensor right now.
He knows exactly what the lineup looks like. He should be able to see at least 3 players here from Immortals, but like we said before, they constantly have flank watch set up, and one is, if they're playing it the same way that Space Station are anyway, one is going to be completely dedicated to watching for the flank against the player that's on the sight hatch here. So this will make it very, very difficult for any type of roamer on Space Station to find impact, regardless of the timing or positioning of their push, because there's someone dedicated to doing that. Specifically, here we go, though, Rampy.
Oh, what an angle, Rampy.
Nicely done. Smokes are going to move in. He's just going to continue to tap away. Why not? There's 81 bullets. He could do that for a while, but M-King running into a position we don't see the plant happening at too often. Oh, the Nitro Cell catches it, though. A second one moves in, which is a bit unnecessary, but the job was done. Chala even follows it up with a second kill, but here comes the garage flank from Cyber. Bullet picks up another kill as well. Bosco's found one, bringing it all down to Cyber, and Bosco on the 590, finishing off Cyber, allows Space Station to close out map number 2 in their favor, and they will take control, tying the series up 1-1 and sending us to a third and final map on Villa to decide the series.
What a round there by SSG. I think the biggest key factor for them is that Immortals actually slowed down quite a bit once they got the wall open. Everyone just kind of stopped, stared at each other in a circle and was like, do you want to bait utility? I don't know if I want to bait utility. And everything after those first 2 Toxic Babes really slowed down. So biggest key factor there for them is they rotate through, smoke out the mirror, and they're like, okay, we're going to go plant the other plant spot, which is on top of those desks, as you saw M-King hop up there, but he caught a Nitro Cell. That really didn't work out for them. Cyber, if he would have been just a touch faster, could have changed up the entire round for them, and they would have been able to go 4 straight, but SSG, once again, got to be able to find Bank. And that's the biggest deal when you have a 6-0 on one side. You have to go 6 rounds without an error. You know how big that is? It's super hard inside of Siege, especially super hard inside of Siege. It's very hard to not mess up once, you know? That's why, you know, 7-2, 7-3, something along those lines. You're like, okay, you know, there was just a couple major mistakes. We can fix that. When it's 6-0 right off the top, very hard to come back from.
Certainly the case. And again, it's this hatch drop that was the key to success for SSG throughout the entire first half for them, as they were constantly allowed to assault the basement side. I think it was 4 out of 6 times or something like that we ended up playing on basement throughout the course of that first half. And it was the combo of both Chala and Bosco that worked together on that hatch. Chala acting as the flank watch and even caught kills multiple times, and Bosco focusing entirely on the hatch, where he continued to get kills and stopped any attempt from the defense to interrupt their planting procedure here.
Yeah, I think Bank really was just the story of SSG and whether, you know, they had an error or not. I mean, on offense, everything was right as rain.
I'm not sure, but on that final round, I almost want to say that maybe the hatch didn't get open, because I never heard it get blown up. Like I said, I might have missed it and it was open and they just weren't using it as properly, but it seemed like that hatch wasn't open, as the defenders were given a lot, or defenders seemed to have a lot more clearance to actually abuse the presence for the attackers were showing on that site, just by actually going directly into the site and playing for it. So I would be curious to know if we ended up actually seeing the hatch get breached on that final round, because that might have been the decisive thing that settled it for me.
It really might have, but I think the biggest deal is that they just didn't bait out enough utility to try and get that plant down.
Of course.
And then they had to rotate all the way over to the other default plant site, and Chala just heard him rotate. He was like, okay, he's going to go try and plant desk. Just tosses a nitro cell in there.
Yep.
Again, on that site, it's all about baiting that utility. Can you bait the utility or can you not? That is what decides server. You have to be there in time, you have to be able to bait the utility, and more than likely the offense will come up with a win there. Just, again, I feel like if Cyber moved just a little bit faster through Garage, that entire round could have been different, because that pick that he got could have definitely been influential.
Yeah, certainly the case. Even the flank that we saw from their Ash towards the end of it failed to find impact, as it was immediately countered out. The third map, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up in just a couple of minutes here. Once again, for the 6th Invitational, it is Immortals versus Space Station. They'll settle their differences when we come back from this break on Villa. Stick with us.
It's definitely hard to socialize because of how much I play Rainbow Six. Mind you, I was never that sociable otherwise, so it doesn't make too much of a difference to me. Like, it's how I've always been anyways. But it definitely does. I mean, you end up putting all your time into it. If you want to be the absolute best, you have to turn down other things and can't go out. You got to stay home and practice, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely affects your social life. Ooh, switching attacker, defender the other side. I think I actually had the idea with doing that with, I think there was 2 options. Someone had mentioned it a while ago, is doing it with both Line and Finka, just having them swap. That way, like Finka, you could do it as like almost like a retake thing for defenders. Like you pop it and then like you can retake the bomb site, and then also you don't get affected by smoke, so it'd be kind of cool. And then in hindsight, the Line one's not that cool because no one likes Line. He's pretty lame. I guess it would depend. The thing that matters to me is communication, so I don't care what you can do in game as long as you're talking. Typically, I guess, stereotypically, support players are more vocal, so I'd rather have all support players. Because in my opinion, at the end of the day, you don't need to be able to aim that well. As long as you have the right information and communication, you can make it work. I think some of the best players don't necessarily have really good aim, they just have good communication and good understanding of the game.
So what are your top 5 supports?
Top 5 supports. Top 2 are Necrox and Young, and that's all I got. I'd say probably actually it's mostly European players, but like just speaking to Shate and Fabian, the 3 of them, I guess, or 2 of them, 3 of us. Like I had joked with them before, like, yeah, one day. But yeah, like I'm really good friends with Shate. I definitely would like to play with him one day somehow, maybe. Probably not, but it'd be cool. And then I think Fabian, I have really high respect for him, so I think he has a really good understanding of the game, and I think it'd be good to play with him.
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.
welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the 6 Invitational. It's time for our Group B final match to conclude with its third and final map. If you haven't been with us for the prior 2 maps, we want to welcome you to the stream, of course. It's Immortals versus Space Station Gaming. One of these teams will be moving forward into the main event. They'll be joining Team Empire, also from their group, as they enter the quarterfinals. The loser, unfortunately, will fall just short of the main event, and we will have to say goodbye to them here today. It's going to be on Villa, and it's bound to be a very exciting affair, given the way that our first 2 maps just played out.
Yeah, most definitely, especially after that last map where SSG all the way there for quite a while. Their offensive set going 6-0, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys were not with us. Immortals trying to bring it back just a little bit, but just fell short after attacking downstairs. So, as we will be making it to map number 3 on Villa, we'll show you guys the map stats right now, as you guys can see. Banned out map by both of them, 5 for Immortals, 2 for SSG, 2-0-2 for Immortals, and 1-0-0 for SSG. Again, this is the decider, so this was neither of theirs picked maps. It just was the map that was not banned out. So
what are you thinking about this map? What do you think it's going to come down to on both these teams? For me, it's my immediate attention shifts to roamers, because that's on 2 maps now. Roamers have been really the focal point of what's been going wrong or right for one team, and I feel like this map is going to play into that especially. Yeah,
I honestly feel like Immortals is coming in pretty heavy onto this map, just due to the fact that they had such a good game on the first map being Border. And really the thing behind that was just their patience. They were so patient the entire time. They were not scared to show a little bit of face, back off, and really let SSG try and deal with their timing. And it really just came back to bite them. But as we do jump into Villa, we are going to start the bans off now, ladies and gentlemen, for map number 3 between Immortals and Space Station Gaming. Starting things off with banning out the mountain that is Monte.
Second ban will come in, the first for Immortals, I do believe. Their choice will be Maverick, knocking him out as the final attacker. Someone on Immortal side was happy about that. And so now, the last ban will come out, or it was someone from the other stream, but actually no, we don't have the other stream anymore, so it would have had to have been Immortals. First Defender ban, however, coming in now. This, I think, is going to be the more predictable one. Well, both of them might be the more predictable one. Mira is going to end up getting knocked out. Our last one probably going to be Echo or Maestro, but let's take a look, see if it's anything crazy, as it's Space Station. So actually, no, both are going to be left in. I was about to correct myself, but the game did it for me. Valkyrie once again, which means we have a lot of drones that are going to be alive for the defense, as Echo and Maestro have both been left in the pool for this map.
Villa being the new map to the map pool, at least. And it actually came in Operation Pale Rebellion. It's been in there ever since inside of the map pool. Still relatively a new map. Aviator Room as well as Games Room going to be the first selection for the defense. It is going to be SSG. But the good thing about it being still a relatively new map is that there's still some very creative things you can do on it, finding new lines of sight and so on. So we'll see if that's going to come out by anybody. SSG actually going to lock in a Caveira pick right off the top. So biggest thing about Villa is going to be the basement for the roam game. That being a big deal just because of the fact that no one really goes down there. So we'll see if Rampy is going to choose to start things off in the basement, really what he wants to do with this Caveira. Also the offense, Cyber allocating to the glass.
Usual setup will come up here for these guys. Obviously we have the Mira banned out to the strength that it normally would provide on this site, primarily by looking into the study, which is the room on the bottom of the screen right now. It's not going to be available for this run, meaning that Immortals should have a much easier time starting the round off, getting themselves into an initial staging position, but this site still ends up being relatively difficult to attack just due to how closed off it is, and especially if your hard breach is denied, how much of a choke point it gets turned into when you are forced to assault it with minimum time left on the clock. Rampy, to not much of a surprise, is going to end up roaming around the basement to start. I don't believe he had any drone presence to deal with in the initial drone phase, which means he's going to be safe to sit down here, waiting for intel from his teammates or any that he might be able to gather from sound before he starts to make a push upstairs. And of course, look for that infamous interrogation if the opportunity presents itself. That is the big high-risk, high-reward trade-off of bringing Caveira to the table. And again, just explaining this for those guys who might be newer to Siege and watching. If you can take an enemy down but not kill them outright, if you go through about a 3 or 4 second animation on top of them, you slit their throat, and also get the free location info of every other teammate on the attacking team. I think it's for about 5 to 10 seconds, right?
Yeah, it's right around 5 seconds, yes sir.
And obviously that will immediately kill any plans the attackers have during that time, and often force a complete reset of their positioning.
Yeah, and Caviar has definitely made a resurgence back, specifically at this LAN. So we haven't seen her yet in this matchup, but Rampy playing her now. As it does look to be he is in the China room, as he was staring at a brick wall. There's like, exactly where is he? I thought he might have been in the basement for a second, but no, he is just right off the kitchen, over here by the blue hallway, red carpet hall. So you are going to be looking to him to have some roam presence. M-King going to find some bullets in the process of that, as it does look like they are going to start things off from the south. And he's going to catch the rest of those as well, as he will go down. That will be the IQ. So no real way of getting rid of those mutes upstairs, unless Bullet wants to do it more of a brute force way with the skeleton key.
Oh, we are going to see actually Bullet end up going down first. The Immortals are getting torn to shreds, seemingly out of nowhere. Redeemer and Rampy getting a Pokeball kill against Bullet. Already down to just PX and Cyber, as the third kill was confirmed. So we're down to just these two here. Thankfully, one of them is a Glass. This is the first time I think we've actually seen Glass left in so far in the series. He was banned out in the other two maps. Toxic Eggs are going to move in. Bosco actually confirmed the kill onto Cyber with it. It's left just PX, the Thermite, alive. Well, we haven't seen either of his exothermic charges get used here so far. He's probably not even ever going to get that chance, given the 1v5 that is currently set against him. 50 seconds left as well, so a decent amount of time to play with, but pretty soon he is going to be out of time and forced to make a move. Probably in through the 90 door, where he'll promptly go down. Actually, nearly gets the kill there. Takes him a moment, but he does take out Thinking Nate. There's the start, but again, time is his enemy here, and he is working against it.
Biggest thing for PX right here is the defense has to mess up in order to make this 1v5 for him happen, but everyone's just going to play angles at different head levels, so it's going to be quite difficult for him, as he is going to dedicate a stun inside, but he is going to get found by Rampy with a pistol. Speaking of the pistol, it's going to be Caviera's pistol, the Legion, if I said that appropriately. But again, that is going to be the first Caviar that we've seen so far on this set between Immortals and SSG. And Space Station Gaming starting things off right. We'll see if they can continue their reign of terror on this defense.
Really stinks if that the last player, if they go down, they just auto die. So
yeah,
we know we could have we got a free interrogation there at the end. I think might have triggered it, but not gonna happen.
I think everyone would have been very disappointed at us if we would have screamed interrogation on the last guy.
It would have just been us laughing more than anything.
You could do it on Zofia.
That's true. Yeah.
Down Zofia, because it takes her forever and a day to pick herself up, but. Rampy going to go for the Caviar once again, because it worked out quite well. He actually got an impact kill that last round as well, which was always a comical thing. Always a comical thing. I always love the ragdolls off of impact kills. They're hilarious.
Well, Rampy's going to stick with it. It seems to be a mainstay, at least for the time being, so we'll see how much impact he's able to find. He's already gotten 2 kills, as you said. He got the grenade kill and finished off PX on a Thermite. But of course, with Aviator Games being won by Space Station, they're going to immediately shift over to the trophy statuary, the common second sight that we see almost every team play towards. After this, though, it's a little bit more up in the air, depending on the personal preference of the team, but it'll more than likely shift to in particular on the 2 downstairs sites.
Yeah, downstairs is more or less pick your poison. A lot of teams allocating themselves to kitchen, but always go over to the apps area as well.
5 seconds left.
Looks like Redeemer is going to be opening up some vertical angles in front of the reinforced wall they put on the statuary room. And that's just so that they can try and play some vertical angles on PX, trying to put some thermite charges down so they can either pop those off or possibly kill PX from down below. Both a possibility, unless that thermite charge is already going off. They're going to start things off almost the exact same way. Starting from the south into Study is Navi's.
He's still going to be holding himself on the top level here as they, again, try to swiftly clear things out on the south side of the building. In the meantime, once again, we've got the Caviar waiting in the basement for her time to find impact here. Mainly just acting as the defender of it, trying to play off the cameras here. Try and look for intel and a good location to move towards. Obviously, we'll see the open doors by the front. Knows for a fact that Immortals would have, that Immortals would have moved in from there. Now can start to get into position to look to find impact on the Caviar.
Cyber and Navi's both poised to try and have an effect on this side. They're looking for an initial pick to decide which side they really want to take over. Thinking Nate, not the best position to try and combat that door, but I guarantee you there's a goon mine in front of that unless Cyber has already shot it. Navi's going to see if there is an ADS. And actually, his breaching charge, I thought he got burned out there for a second. There was a little bit of error in the ADS, but no, he will end up breaking that barbed wire. As You're going to be wanting to pay attention to Rampy here to see exactly where he's going to try to rotate to, because right now it is kind of a stalemate between these two teams as Immortals stares down the barrels of SSG and Bosco specifically, sitting on top of the desk inside of Astronomy.
About a minute and a half left on the clock here for Immortals to work their way in. They're going to burn down the ADS as Navi starts to push his teammates in to the left trophy room. Meanwhile, Rampy again, just watching flank essentially at this point on his lonesome. Knows he's probably not going to get a whole lot in his direction. Bosco will still be able to try and deny in the event they move into the trophy room without clearing him out first. So he's got control of Statuary, working, I believe, with Redeemer on the inside of this room, or possibly one of his other teammates. Again, Rampy finding position in the Memorial Room where he does have a slight hole into the site. Try and spot up top.
This has been a slow and methodical take so far by Immortals. Navi's finally going to find Bosco. That's going to be the smoke as the plant starts to go down by PX, but Navi's will be found in the process of that as Chala will find him. Cyber get one of his own as well. Things are really going to start to pop off. Trades coming out everywhere. PX will find one as well as Thinking Nade. And 90 hallway being held down by PX. PX, as he takes down Thinking Nade, will make this a 3 versus 1. Chala over inside of Statuary has 3 to find once again. He will down one, and he almost takes 2, but PX with a pistol will take down Chala. That'll be Immortals' first round. And it seems to be that this might be a very, very hard-fought map between these two.
Much like we saw back on Border, which means we have a very exciting affair in front of us. But a good strategy for Immortals for the most part. Remaining uncontested as they tried to move in over towards the Aviator game side of the actual building. The Caviar are not actively roaming around the first floor to try and look for opportunities, so obviously when he fell back on the back stairs, there wasn't much else for him to contribute to, as by the time he actually had gotten back upstairs, well, the Immortals had their entire 5-man team grouped up outside of Trophy and were able to just push everyone in one big group that could not be stopped once they got the diffuser onto the ground. I think at one point the smoke played by Bosco got picked off early in that fight too, meaning the toxic grenades were not able to hold them back, and even if they were, they still had about a minute and a half on the clock when they started the execute, so more than likely would have not run out the entirety of the timer.
And Immortals going to pick up the original Catalyst that won them map number 1. It's Ying. She does make a reappearance here in Villa, being played by Cyber once again. He had some success on her on Border, which definitely in turn won them that map, at least offensive-wise, as they did make that adjustment with the Thatcher later on to really help out their push with the Thermite as well. Really open the space up to where Cyber could really do what he wanted to do. I think that was their main issue on Border. They're going to try and change that up already. This time they don't want to try and take attack timeout so early on to make that adjustment.
Well, again, the normal holes being opened up. The rotate hole for Redeemer to use to get in between Trophy and the Astronomy room. He'll be playing behind that desk, likely. And in a moment, he'll be putting his evil eyes down as well. The setup for his team now as Immortals are quickly approaching the building with Navis once again on the Ash. Start to push and start clearing things out. No, let's see here, but no, yep, Navis, excuse me, is going to start to drone things out for himself first, just to be safe. That's assuming he can jump into the window. There we go. So we'll start from Bicycle Storage into Memorial. And that'll probably be his route to start clearing things out on the first floor, too. The Caviar, if you haven't noticed, by the way, has been abandoned finally. So we do have Rampy back on the pulse. Still playing in the basement and looking for that intel.
Navi's gonna drop back on drone. Rampy was looking to hop outside right there off of his cardiac sensor. So he did punch out the window at the bottom of red stairs, but as Ash did move, he does not want to try and dedicate himself to a gunfight against Navi's this early on. Still plenty of time, and Rampy is the solo roamer. Beauty of Pulse being that you can actually find people's heartbeats through walls and floors, as you guys saw him bring out that cardiac sensor. So he can really dictate where he moves throughout the map, depending on what information he gets from that cardiac sensor, as well as the Nitro Cell that everyone loves those Nitro Cell kills with Pulse from underneath, as that is going to be basically what Rampy is trying to achieve with that Nitro Cell, as he will rotate his way up the pantry stairs. We're about halfway through this game. You guys are going to hear the telltale sign of the T95, as Cyber is trying to find a couple of kills over here from Master Bedroom. The slow, methodical push, once again, coming out from Immortals.
Being already at the gates. The approach to Statuary room now. Ready to move in if they catch a Legion over peeking once again. At the moment, not going to do it. However, we do have those Navis creeping up those red stairs, which could very easily pinch these players in. In fact, we'll move up, find a lineup onto Redeemer, and take down the Maestro early in the round. That eliminates the potential for the Evil Eyes to be moved and utilized as well, meaning they can no longer use them to delay the plant.
Thinking Nade going to be playing on the south side of the statuary room. Pretty bad spot as he is going to try and get aggressive on the Cyber, but they're going to rotate through the reinforcement that was blown open. Toxic Babes going off as Cyber will find one and Bullet. Going to take down Bosco in the process of that. Cyber to T'Challa as it's going to be all left up to Rampy. As PX will put the diffuser down, but as Cyber is going to hop down from upstairs, Rampy will take him down. Rampy has 3 defined and almost no health, but he is still breathing, so clutch is always possible as he is going to be able to find M-King, but no, M-King will be able to kill Rampy, and yet again, Immortals will win another offensive round. 2-1 currently is the scoreline here on Villa.
This is some incredibly effective executes coming out from Immortals here, and again, it's because they're not being interfered with by any roaming presence that's coming out from Space Station on their defense. Only really one major roamer that's been moving around per round on Space Station at the moment, and he has almost never really found significant impact, except for that round that they won, of course. See what the Immortals have picked up. They've been allowed to walk through pretty much the entirety of the house on Aviator Games Room side, group up on the second floor, and then just directly push with pretty much a full 5-man unit. Even late flanks from Space Station have failed to find any effectiveness against Immortals, who is absolutely crushing it when it comes to the statuary trophy room.
Defense for SSG so far. They had one very, very successful setup, but other than that, really hasn't worked out for them. That one defensive round they won, there was literally no sign of life in Immortals. Really thought this was going to go the same way that Bank did, but so far, Immortals proving me wrong, which is a good thing, especially for those Brazilian fans out there once again. And if you guys are just joining us, if Immortals wins this map, they will punch their ticket to the final stage and be the first Brazilian team to do so since FaZe fell earlier this morning to Reciprocity. Reciprocity being the second team in North America to make it to the final stage following Evil Geniuses in the winners bracket. It seems to me that they are going to rotate back over to the original side that they won on. Relatively the same setup, so we'll see the second time around Immortals will be able to combat this a little bit better. Navi's literally pre-firing absolutely everything, even the sky, as he has no regard for bullets or birds.
Pretty much here. Navi's also going to quickly pop open the window to the walk-in, start to take control of Master following this. He has drone presence to help him out. As again, they'll clear out the unoccupied side of the map, since we once again are back to Aviator Games Room, which is on the other side of the building right now. He will, of course, get spotted by the default camera that's probably being watched by Redeemer on the Maestro. Regardless, knocks it out quickly. And Redeemer actually looks like he's holding an angle here, trying to wait for that push to come out since he's holding on red stairs at the moment. T'Challa also helping out with to establish a crossfire from the back hallway.
Reloading, cover me!
Rampy's been doing so good on roam so far, and I think that the main adjustment for the offense is going to be M-King picking up the Dokkaebi. Definitely going to try and help them out. Speaking of helping them out, Rampy is definitely going to help out the defense here by taking down Navi's. Navi's thought he had that gunfight in his hands, but Rampy going to rip all hope away from him. T'Challa is going to stand on site. They really need to try and shut down this roam game of Rampy. He's been running rampant so far, at least, over Immortals in these last couple of rounds, but Redeemer will fall on the red stairs as Bullet will actually be able to take him down. Second phone call going to come out, do believe, or Rampy just still has his phone going off from earlier. We could identify what M-King has left for utility. I would really appreciate that. Thank you, sir. That was the second phone call indeed.
Which actually was used quite early here now just to clear out roamers. So Space Station once again fixing that problem that I was talking about in the previous 2 rounds. The roaming presence at least stalling out Immortals for a slightly longer time. However, Flashbang's now quickly moving their way in as they try to breach open the wall that leads into the weapons closet here. I believe the breach was unsuccessful. They're waiting for a wrap to come work its way back out into the hallway here now. That's what Cyber's got his eyes on, making sure that the 90 doorway does not get peeked. And if so, Bosco will be the dead man out of it, and not Cyber.
Impact trick coming out from the defense. It's going to be a thermite charge down, and Shaw's actually going to find someone. It's going to be PX. His head will get removed. Bosco gonna get stunned out, and Cyber's looking for one of his own. Will he be able to find him behind bar? He sees the top of his head, but nothing will come of it. Rampy, yet again, gonna rotate back and find Bullet. Cyber seeing what he can see inside of sight through the toxic fumes. Nothing to be seen just yet. They are still worried about Rampy from behind. He's been so good on this roam game so far as he wraps his way back around, seeing what he can see, and what he can see is Cyber's head. He's going to click it. Cyber will hit the deck. M-King going to meet the same fate as Rampy. We would see him down the hallway. Takes him out as well. So Rampy coming up big on that round especially to put this to 2-2 and a tie here on map number 3.
Now this begs the question, are Space Station a one-site team here on Villa, only able to claim Aviator games, or can they finally find some success over here towards Trophy and Statuary? Where once again, of course, they are going to be forced over to, since the downstairs sites are not too much of an appetizing option. Even with the 2 losses that they've already suffered on the site, they'd much rather prefer to play it a third time and give Immortals another chance to go for their same 5-man execute compared to risking it out with a bottom floor hold.
This is really where rotation parameters can come back to bite you, is when you really can't play the other site too well, or the other team can counter exactly what you're trying to do on there. So far, Immortals really been able to counter the roam game of Rampy, but that time around, not too much success about that. Even though they did bring the Dokkaebi to try and counteract them, really only thing they found of that was Redeemer chilling on the red stairs. So they are able to take out Rampy this time around. I feel like they are going to be in a pretty good spot to win this. And this actually is the map that Rampy broke the kill record on before. 8-2-2 currently is Rampy for SSG, leading the pack over here with the Astronauts.
So, usual reinforcement setup coming in at the moment here for SSG, as once again, open up that final wall to the left of Chala to act as a rotate hole for anyone needing to move to the inside of Trophy, since the desk allows you cover. It's directly below it there, next to Redeemer. So for the rest of the guys here on Immortals, once again, they're out on the board, and it would not be surprising if we see them go for a quick take over here into the study. And as well, look to isolate out any roamers from SSG if there are any on this site. And of course, move into position to go for that 5-man execute. Assuming again, that is the same thing they want to try and go for here.
Definitely seems that both of these teams warmed up at least. Aggressive plays are starting to come out from SSG once those Kandalas hit the floor. I noticed that a little bit earlier, and that is the one way to counter Ying. You kind of have to get to her before that Kandala gets off and flashes you. They're definitely not having too much trouble with her anymore, but that can always change up in the right context. Cyber will start on the north window here, but he's not going to find much of it. He decides to rotate over to his team. Looks like Immortals wants to start things off over inside of Master Bedroom this time around, as Navi will trying to find Rampy. The man has caused them so much trouble in the past. Speaking of trouble, wow, that was a stutter fest. Almost had a stroke there. Thinking nade, going to see Cyber in the window. He's going to be able to take him down. This bullet will catch a few of those as well.
Damage going in here now. With the loss of Cyber, Immortals will find themselves in a position that they're not familiar with on this site. They've had a very, very straightforward take 2 rounds in a row now. This time they're going to have to innovate a little bit more. They're also, once again, going to be trying to push their players in through the schoolyard side here. It's going to be Rampy upstairs, looking to deny that downstairs presence that Immortals are currently going for. It will force the Zofia, or potentially the Buck, back a little bit further into the building. And Rampy will continue to be able to hold on the inside of Aviation, waiting for the push to come in. Immortals, however, are starting to get low on time, approaching the 1-minute mark. As you can see, they have taken control of the Master Bedroom. And Bullet will be able to do a little bit of reconstruction with that skeleton key shotgun to open up the top side and try to force away any defenders that might try to trick and attempt to breach open this wall.
Checking for ADSs, and Bullet's going to toss a frag grenade over to get rid of these batteries. It actually didn't go off. Right? They might have fallen to the floor, actually, as another nade will come through. And it actually will roll all the way over into the tiny little hallway and do absolutely nothing. But somebody that will do something is PX, as he will frag out Chala on the Astro stairs. Navi's going to follow him up, see if he can see anybody has rotated just yet. Bullet going to catch a Toxic Babe, as he will immediately rotate out of there. Does not want to take too much damage. 25 seconds left on the clock as a phone call will come out from the Logic Bomb of M-King. Thinking Nade staring down towards the Master to Statuary door. So we'll find M-King. Yet another kill going to come through as Bosco will see Bullet. things starting to ramp up quite a bit as PX will meet the same fate from Redeemer. 1v4, Navi's all alone, 4 seconds left on the clock and not clutchable. So he will just try and find a kill, but it's not going to happen. Space Station find yet another defensive win.
However, this does send them down over to the first floor now for at least one round here to try and close out. Unfortunately, since it is round 6, it is going to be the only other round they get. They have chosen their poison, as you were saying before. A choice between 2 different poisons here. They've chosen to go with a dining room and kitchen site as the final that they will defend before we switch sides. But with the lead, they can lock it down with one more into their favor. They will end with a 4-2 leaving them only 3 rounds away from being able to close this series out and punch their ticket over to the main event down the street, starting on Friday.
Friday is going to be a heck of a day, man. Main stage is going to be absolutely insane. I'm so excited for it. I'm sure you guys are. We're going to be seeing a set of 5, maybe 6 faces, depending on if the coach will be there or not. I'm hoping so, but more than likely 6 faces of one of these teams on Friday. Indeed, one of them will square off against Empire over on the main stage, ladies and gentlemen. We just got to find out who it is. We will definitely know after this. Once again, ladies and gents, if you guys are just joining us, we cannot stress this enough. All of the Brazilian lives are on the line today, as Immortals is going to be the second one to tempt fate. FaZe already did, and they lost to Reciprocity earlier on today. That was 2-1, very, very close set. But FaZe just could not find what it took, as Reciprocity is going to move on and be the second team out of North America to be able to make it a main stage. And we're seeing if Immortals right now can be the first team for Brazil, but we will be seeing Liquid later on today, as they also have a shot, as all of the Brazilian teams are trying to make a lower bracket run.
Bullet again making his run around. Just to take care of the outside default cameras really quickly here before he starts actually moving in for control to the main entrance. Again, more defaults to deal with. Just pops this open and actually again will bypass the main entryway. Starting to work over possibly the mudroom entry. Definitely going to be a bit of a risk to try to push himself in from there, considering the proximity to the site. But this is also where we have a large amount of the people from Immortals starting to stack up and get themselves ready to move in at. It's more Bullet continuing to make noise all around the map, and it looks like he is finally ready to start to make some momentum forward on the inside of Master here in just a second. He'll have to drone for himself, which will take a couple of extra seconds. I don't think there's any actual presence up here, at least not at the moment from SSG, so it should be a pretty casual process for Bullet to waltz right in. We start taking some map control away from SSG.
And Villa is actually the most defender-sided map right now. It's at 60% for defender wins, and that is a little bit lower with, you know, playtime at least. But Kitchen Dining, the 3rd most defended site, 50%, and actually Living Room Library has the exact same percentage, but it's only been played twice. So there's a little bit of bias in the basement sites there, but this is the 3rd most defended site on this map, as they will move in from Laundry, and this is the usual take for this site, as they're going to have Cyber lead the charge, no longer on the Ying. He's on the Glaz. Bad news is Glaz's scope might be able to see through smoke, but it can't really help with Toxic Babe smoke, at least lung-wise. Impact Trick will try to go out, but I don't think it was successful, as we saw the screen shake there. Was it not? No, Cyber's going to be able to find Bosco, and I think this is going to be bad news for the defense here, as Cyber has full-on smoke everywhere, but he has been yokai'd in the process.
A minute remaining here now for our attackers, Immortals, to get themselves into the site and plant the diffuser onto the ground. Redeemer, the most recent pickup, as again, they just sit back and wait, essentially, for the push to come in from Immortals. They've done a very one-dimensional push so far. They have not been able to look for ulterior angles to take and fish out the members of SSG. The phone call is in, providing intel on to Picking Nade, but he's inviting them in. Yes, my phone's ringing. Come try and stop it. I am ready to take you down, as he finds another kill with it, bringing Immortals down to just 3 left standing. Space Station now take the advantage, as they have 4.
He really is taking the route of, you can take the ringing phone off of my dead body, as he continues to just let it ring. His Bullet won't make a rotate, but Rampy's ready for it. Who will win this gunfight? There's going to be a big deal. Rampy's going to win it. Yet another one will fall, but it's going to be Redeemer, and PX going to go huge as he finds 2, ladies and gentlemen. Navi's and PX the last 2 alive, as the diffuser will start to go down. Navi's going to try and cut off the rotate, as yet another one will happen. Rampy going to go down, and will Navi's be able to clean it up? No, he's going to go over and stab Rampy. It's going to be a 2v1 with Thinking Nade, who has no health, and Navi's will be able to frag him out and find yet another offensive win for Immortals. That's going to be 3-3, ladies and gentlemen, here on Villa. What a close match so far.
Nice read from Navi's at the end, too. I think he gets a little bit of sound intel once he hears the jump outs, as he was already just on the outside. And attempted a good move to quickly wrap back around and into the main door, but it does not work out for the last man standing on SSG. So they will not be able to solidify their advantage at halftime. It is tied at 3-3, but we will still switch sides. Immortals now go on to the defense, where they will start Aviator Games, and Space Station, they will enter onto the attack now.
As said by Blue, swapping sides here. Big thing going to be Vigil not going to be played, and Vigil actually has quite a bit of impact on Villa just due to the fact that his ability can go through floors, so he can actually roam downstairs and show like his presence inside of kitchen or really anything on that middle floor. It can stretch up to the top floor, but it really doesn't have nearly the effect just due to the height ceiling of that ability. So it really has just around the same radius as Pulse does, but it just goes a little bit outside of that where you have a very tiny effect on your drone. So really just depends on positioning and everything else along with that ability. But it does appear that we will be going to Aviator Games Room right off the rip for the defense of Immortals.
10 seconds remaining.
Again, emphasis on defending the 90 hallway here by PX on his Maestro, with the Evil Eye going down at the edge of it. The second one should be probably somewhere on the inside or in between these two sites where he can still cause delay. Probably going to be on the inside of the Aviation Room here. There we go. Right by the nice little plant. Sort of put that second Evil Eye to get into it for SSG. They've been let out onto the field. In the meanwhile, we've got their players approaching it, and in a moment, they should be starting to move in towards the study.
Moving in towards Stunny indeed is more or less just how you do in this map. Everyone usually starts over on this side and sees if they can really bait out a utility, if there's a Mira going to be played or anything along those lines. Luckily, Mira is going to be banned for this matchup, so not going to have to worry about that inside of Study. The only thing you're really going to have to worry about is if somebody has any kind of mind to peek you from that door, because it does happen. It's a very aggressive thing to do to try and peek into Study, but it does indeed happen, and it's actually won rounds off of that before. But their main take here is going to be 90 hallway, so they have to try and alleviate some of that outside pressure. It can be such a concern. So you see Thinking Nade setting up a drone, because I believe it actually just got shot off the bookshelf, but going to set a Claymore on the stairs and rotate back up to try and help out his team with a couple of those EMP grenades.
So once again, it is looking like Space Station will be trying to go for that straightforward push through Study onto the inside of the site. Once more, trying to get as much intel right now off of drones, but pretty soon, as we approach the 1 minute mark, they are going to have to start committing to their push a little bit more heavily. As Thatcher tries to knock out what he can with the nades. But again, do bleed through the walls a little bit, so if anything's on the other side of it, that's more than likely what he's intending to try and take out of this. Meanwhile, Rampy will clear out the basement with his drone, start to work his way forward. See if there's anything that can be knocked out with the Twitch drone at the top as well, but he's much more focused on the battle that sits in front of him, using that F2, a very, very powerful rifle. Try and pick up some nice quick headshots here. But again, using the drone in order to get to the top first. There we go. He's got the spot onto the Jaeger at least, and moving quite literally as slow as he possibly can. They're going to awkwardly walk into each other, but he gets caught taking out a gadget, and that'll act as the perfect distraction for Cyber to eliminate him instead.
Timing can sometimes come back to bite you, and that's exactly what's going to happen to Rampy as he tries to pick up that Legion mine. But Cyber will be able to take him down as Bosco will rotate around. He wants to try and get a flank off late here. Chala, he's been doing so good on this Dokkaebi so far. He will make a phone call of death to Cyber, so he will be able to hear him through the wall. They've made a hole inside him. Chala's going to take a little bit of damage from the wall due to bandit batteries, but yet another phone call is going to be coming through as Navis will start to get the call as well. No more logic bombs for Chala. They will begin to be aggressive onto site. Again, that MK14 ER can do so much damage. Redeemer going to start to get the plant down, but they have to worry about the rotate. It's going to be taken down by Bosco. As this diffuser will go through. Redeemer been so good on the plant so far today. Very smart plays by him. He's going to be able to find one of his own. Navi's going to find one as well. Chala going to take down M-King. It's all left up to Navis as he will kill Chala through their own hole. Thinking Nade and Bosco, the only two left up for the offense, but a phone call still ringing in Navi's pocket will give not very much of a chance to him, as they will recognize out that he is still inside of Aviator room. And they're playing the long game, just waiting for him to try and defuse, and this is when Bosco will move forward as he just tries to stick it, more than likely try and get the kill here. Is that Bosco? Bosco, thank you. Okay.
There we go.
I was waiting, I was like, is he just going to wait there the whole time? But no, Bosco will move around and he will frag out the man on the diffuser.
And so, as such, we will find success from Space Station on their first attacking round, taking control of Aviator Games room. At the very last moment, they're just able to get their plant onto the ground, and as well, a nice little post plant for themselves. Not overextending, just playing on the outside of the site. They knew it would have had to have been a full stick there at the end, so it's an easy walk-in for the last run of Immortals to try and shut that one down. The rotation will still stay at Aviator Games room, however, for the Immortals. They got very close to successfully defending that site, so once again, they are going to try it one more time before probably giving up after this one and moving on over to Trophy Statuary.
So far, it has seemed that Rampy has come back from at least what happened yesterday in that Empire matchup where he was basically non-existent. Didn't really seem like he logged into the server at all. This time around, definitely finding some success. 9-4 so far, doing a very good job on that roam game on their defensive set and able to make an impact here on the offense. Only thing is, he did get taken down by Cyber that last round there, and a very unfortunate series of events. But as they do look to extend their lead here on this offensive set. Everything seems pretty even across the board, as you guys did see 4 kills split across 4 separate players, so 4, 4, and 4. As they will attack yet again the exact same site, Aviator Games.
Once again, the starting rotation here for the guys on Space Station is probably going to look pretty similar. They took a very thorough way to drone things out in that previous round, by making sure to check everything. In fact, so much so that we had Rampy actually coming in from the basement at one point, just to make sure that he would fully check things out with a Twitch drone, and then he could come in from the backside there. Only to be killed by timing at the end, unfortunately. The Space Station wanted to have a nice pinch onto the site, but thankfully didn't end up needing it. So regardless, though, we've got the Twitch drone right on the outside of the main doorway. He's just going to take it back over to himself here real quick, I think, to pick it back up, so we can start moving in and clearing out some of these defenders.
Timing always going to be the most punishing factor for the offense, and that's exactly what the defense's job is to take away from them. And so far, Immortals has done a pretty good job of that, especially on their first go-around of this site. But just did not really fall into their favor. As you guys see, it is 4-3 currently. A first defensive set by SSG. Just really couldn't find any success on their other sites. They're very good in Aviator Games. Statuary only worked out for them once, and their kitchen hold, not really at all, as they actually let the thermite work out. The impact trick just did not work. Rampy trying to make a makeshift crawl hole here for himself, as he will dump a few mags at the F2 into the barrel wall down here in Wine Cellar. Double checks the drone just to make sure no one's going to try and rotate and grab him. He will start things off down here, trying to clear out a couple of roamers. But Immortals has been playing everything pretty close to the chest here on the defense, and it seems like they will do so yet again with another really tight defensive setup. Only one really off of sight here is going to be Cyber, as you guys can see him over here in this statuary room, playing close to Master Door as Rampy will drone up the astronomy stairs.
Yep, we'll catch that Twitch drone, taking it out pretty straightforward manner. This also means he's going to be wary of a presence from these back stairs. The second drone going to be coming up in a second, and again, Cyber should be able to deal with this pretty quickly. But no, the phone call will instead come in against Cyber. Doesn't seem to matter too much, though, as he continues to hold around the corner here. Rampy has gotten the spot. We did see the shots come out from Cyber, however, so it seems like he's aware that the drone has spotted him, and as such, he's fallen back to reset his phone and get ready for the probable impending fight against Rampy.
Things moving a whole heck of a lot slower this time around for the offense, as well as the defense. Not much rotation here by Cyber. He just plays his life, but things will soon ramp up as Nobbies will take down Redeemer as well as Bosco for SSG. M-King gonna follow it up. It's 5v2 already, and M-King gonna find yet another, ladies and gentlemen. Rampy gonna go down as well. Cyber will be able to take him down, and Immortals, a perfect round on the second round of defense for them.
A flawless round, seemingly, as well. Beautiful stuff, and for Space Station, once again, relying pretty heavily on that Twitch to clear out a back angle and then eventually pinch onto the site for them, but just not finding success with it, and as such, forced into a late execute. Obviously, things went a little bit better on the round before that previous one, where they were still able to successfully push into the site, but not even close that time. Shut out right at the doorway by Immortals, and namely that shotgun played on the 590. Like I said before, though, with the success being found here, now the guys on Immortals really won't have a choice. They'll have to move on over to Trophy and Statuary, where we normally see this situation rotate over towards.
Rampy gonna allocate himself onto a different gun here as he does pick up Sledge instead of the IQ. L85A2 will be the choice for him. And a couple of grenades as well as he does extend his kill lead, but really nothing else to show for it. He is now at 9-5-5, assisting out of his mind as well, thinking they're doing the same as he will have 6 of those. But so far, everything seems pretty even across the board for both teams. Everyone putting in a helping hand. The defense of Immortals been a little bit lackluster the first round, but they are going to clean it up the second time. And SSG, more of the same. Things have really just been a back and forth, blow for blow trade here among SSG and Immortals on Villa. To see who can really break this back and forth. That's going to be the main thing. Who can link together back-to-back rounds? Because if not, we're more than likely going to overtime here on our final map between these two.
Especially with a new site being pulled in here as well. A site that we haven't seen these two teams go up against yet, in this half anyway. So there's going to be a lot of unknowns in the air for a few moments here while Space Station take a second to figure out exactly how Immortals have gone for their setup. As far as I've seen, though, Immortals have a pretty straightforward defensive setup here. But the key difference that you can see on the other side compared to Space Station's version of this is that Immortals are a lot more spread out. They have players still in the Aviator Games Room side, most notably Cyber and, of course, Navi's over there towards that site itself, looking to try and isolate out Space Station should they try and roam clear here like they've done in past rounds.
I think the main thing for me is neither of these teams have really flexed to Jackal, even though the roam game has been so effective by both of these teams. Really would think that that would come out. He's not banned. He's not banned at all, so I really don't know why we haven't seen that come out just yet. Rampy's actually going to send his drone inside of the fireplace, which does damage, and it's going to kill his drone. Nothing really else happened there, so that is why you guys saw that drone get dispersed there for a second. But SSG is already set up inside of the master area as well, so they're going to start going for the hard wall over here with their hard destruction of Redeemer. They do have Chala back on the Dokkaebi once again as well. If you guys haven't seen this entire matchup, Chala has been doing so amazing so far on this operator, and he's been rocking the SMG-12, which you don't see too often anymore either. Only a particular set of people still rock that secondary.
So it's thinking nade to open up the window over here towards Astronomy first. He's going to be assisted by Rampy, who has just found that opening kill against the Maestro, who unfortunately got stuck below, didn't even realize they had presence coming in from below, and as such got knocked out. The phone call will come in against Bullet and the rest of the Immortals here, but Cyber, it won't stop him. He's going to be able to find a trade against Rampy, bring us into a 4v4 with just under a minute remaining on the clock. Everyone from Space Station in position, ready to move into this side and start their push in for mainly Astronomy and Master Bathroom, but unfortunately just don't have the positioning just yet to commit themselves to that push. Unfortunately, time, again, will become their enemy here. They do not have the leisure of waiting this out and waiting, most importantly, for Immortals to make mistakes. So Immortals will just sit and wait for the eventual rush to come in here from SSG. As it is now, all three out of four of their players are going to be joined up in Astronomy. Bosco actually able to start this off well, though. Navi's moves in, gets a tad too aggressive for his own making, and the same can be said for M-King. Peeks out slightly, gives away a peek to Redeemer, and as such takes him down. Immortals down to only 2 players left standing here. Bullet tries to take a fight unsuccessfully. Cyber, meanwhile, waiting for a peek to come out from this other side, but Bosco and Thinking Nade will clear things up, giving the round over to Space Station. Cyber to trade one back at the end, but it does not matter.
Again, it's all going to be about the team that can link these rounds together. SSG seems like they might be the team to do so, as once again they will take the lead 5-4, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be 2 offensive rounds in a row for them. Or excuse me, the perfect round was actually last round by the Immortals. Apologies for that one. But they will have the chance once again to attack Trophy Statuary Room, as Navi's is going to hit us with Lord Tachanka, ladies and gentlemen. That will soon be 6-picked, yes. Okay.
There's way too much delay on that 6-pick.
You really had to think about it for a second.
My heart started bumping.
He's like, do I do it to him? I don't want to do it to him. They can't handle that.
I was like, wait, do they have something for this?
Nobody has anything for
I mean, that's my I'm in complete agreement with you there. Don't get me wrong, but
And there's only been a very small amount of times that Tachanka has been played inside of Pro League. A very, very minute number.
Listen, man, it's 6 invite. You never know.
Hey, they really could just pull out. Imagine Evil Geniuses gets all the way to finals.
Someone's going to figure it out eventually, right?
Their god strat is just Tachanka plays on defense. That would be absolute madness. My goodness gracious.
Obviously, again, though, Tachanka, will be left out of the pool. And we will have to see success being found on the Bandit instead as he 6 picks over to that PX having
5 seconds remaining.
a little bit of a problem trying to break the cabinet open and find a spot for his Evil Eye to go down, so he's just going to put it there.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse
The
it.
astronomy room's been kind of a struggle for them so far. They cannot go back over to Aviator Games until after this round, so they will have to try and fight through this once again. Last time, it really did come down to the wire in time, but really not to bodies, as SSG had quite a lead in lives. But a couple of adjustments that Immortals definitely could make, as SSG will start things off basically the same as they do drone out Master Bedroom to see exactly what they can find.
Very much a solidified style of attack that's going to be coming out here from SSG if the current group of players is any indication. All 4 out of 5 of them, and now all 5 grouped up together or pushed in through Master. So we'll not be splitting this off. We'll not be trying to do a pinch like we've seen attempts to do in previous rounds, but has for the most part been relatively unsuccessful. Instead, it's going to be all of them moving in together. The thing is, though, is if you look back on the past, at least in the first half, obviously things will be a little bit different now that SSG is on attack. Whenever we've gone into a big 5-on-5 engagement, 9 times out of 10, SSG loses it. I don't know if it's their communication falling apart in these big gunfights or another factor, but at the end of the day, Immortals always seems to have the edge, whether it's better positioning or, again, the communication factor. They always have tended to win these bigger gunfights. And this is a bit dangerous, in my opinion, for Space Station to try and lead into a site attack that's probably going to end up in one of those big fights.
They got pretty lucky last time with the shotgun player over in the corner, as he actually did flip around just at the wrong time and ended up getting taken out from Master Bedroom. And Navi's going to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, as Rampy will connect with him with a nade off of him playing Sledge once again. So goes for a second one, not going to make any contact. That's actually going to be the Bandit as well. So bad string of luck here for the Immortals, as their denial will go down. But they do still have a lot of players left alive and plenty of bullets in order to pull a round win out here. Bottom of the wall will get blown open, though, by SSG, as they're going to start opening up angles into Statuary. Looks like everything take-wise is going to be relatively the same, as they have their eyes set on Astronomy, with Bosco leading the charge.
Again, we've got the lifeline charges. Unfortunately, both of the stun charges have been used, so it's only going to be the explosive ones remaining. Trying to bust open a few holes for them to use. I'm also getting incredibly low here too, but M-King, some unfortunate timing, has to throw a toxic grenade down right in front of him, which thankfully ends up saving his life in that situation. Just under 25 HP, he's going to run himself away behind the big statue inside of the statue room to try and keep himself in the fight, and it's Cyber that'll find the next exchange here. A few players from Immortals getting low, but they're holding their own. PX with a double kill pickup against Redeemer and Bosco. Bosco, during the process, able to take down Bullet. Down to just Rampy, along with Thinking Nade, who does find success in finally taking down Cyber. But with 5 seconds left, the diffuser will fall inside of Statuary, the smoke falling back and finally making its impact, and PX getting a 3rd kill onto the board. Immortals shut it down, and their defense, the rounds continue to go back and forth and back again, now into Immortals' favor.
Round and round we go here on Villa like a carousel, as Space Station and Immortals just cannot break the curse of just dancing with each other. As yet again, we will see Aviator Games Room, which both of these teams have been very successful on so far. Both of them actually winning one on both of the upstairs sites. So SSG doing it back-to-back, eventually having to go to Kitchen, where they could not go back over to Aviator Games Room. We'll see if boys of IMT will do the exact same thing here as they go head back to the site they originally won. Here on the defense, biggest thing there for SSG, they really had the pressure that they wanted on the main room. They got the Bandit killed, they got the wall open, but just kind of lost sight of really what they wanted over inside of Astronomy. Tried to have a late push inside of Statuary to get the plant down in that 2v2, but smart smoke play by M-King will come out, and you'll be able to find him with an M590 kill, which really set the tone for the rest of that round, allowed them to win that.
We are back over here in the Aviator Games Room once again for the Immortals. The initial round was lost by them, followed up by a victory. The same procedure being taken just recently over towards Statuary and Trophy, where again, the initial confrontation was successfully won by SSG, but this time not so much. As the Immortals were able to close it out. Both Evil Eyes are going to end up going down on the inside of Aviation to start things off. And once more, we've got SSG out onto the board. Same lineup I do believe that we have seen from them when they've attacked this site in the past. Actually, no, this is a little bit different, I think. I'm trying to remember if the Zofia is new, as obviously we saw that used before on the Trophy takes. However, they did have a Twitch last time they were playing into this.
The Twitch is being played by Rampy the last time. He will actually don the sledge this time around, so they will have grenades.
And again, that I'm perfectly okay with that change. The Twitch, to be honest, wasn't really doing much, so.
No. And again, there's no Mira, so there really isn't any use for her except a gun, really. I mean, there's other utility that does her job a lot better. His name is Thatcher. He's being played by Thinking Nade right now. So, I mean, it's a lot easier to just roll a ball against the wall, get everything, or instead of rolling a drone in there that can be shot and have zero effect.
You could still get like a couple goo lines and an ADS, but those can be handled pretty easily with other methods as well, so it's not entirely necessary to bring the Twitch to the table, considering, as you said, the Mira's gone. Don't even have a mute, really, it looks like, on the defending team either, so it's not like there's mute jammers to take care of.
Yeah, overall, really just used for her F2, really, in these kind of circumstances, but we will be about halfway through the round here. SSG relatively looking the same on their offensive attack here as what happened last time, as they literally have everyone over here on the south side in between study as well as the hallway leading to 90. Standing at the top of the main stairs is literally all of SSG. There's 4 people on a drone. All within like the same 5 square feet, ladies and gentlemen. They're literally on top of each other as Navis will actually bandit trick one of Redeemer's X-Kairos charges. Chala is trying to take a peek inside of the Aviator room. But so far, SSG not really being able to find a foothold. Rampy's going to try and find one in 90 hallway. He will start to gunfight with Bullet over here on this end. And things are really kind of spaced out. They really don't know what exactly they want right now. No real map control handled by SSG, as Bosco will be able to find Cyber. That's going to be the Jaeger, and he's had quite a bit of effect here on defense so far.
Bullet is waiting for the peak to come down, but he's not looking at the top of the rappel, meaning this could be dangerous if he swings out too far to one side or the other. He's going to try to get the intel. I think he's seen the arm now. Goes for the spam, gets some good damage indeed. Onto Rampy there. Oh, okay. Thankfully I didn't do that much damage. Oh, there we go.
Oh my goodness, that reminds me a little bit of...
I think we just had every other language commentator. Well, but 2 more kills are going to come up for SSG. 3 kills, in fact, for them, as PX is eliminated most recently. Down to M-King, stuck in the corner. He's found a first kill, though, brought it into a 1v3, and is allowed to get out from the corner, however, misses Redeemer just through the broken wall, and he will shut it down, giving the round over to SSG.
And that will be match point here for ladies and gentlemen. That'll be match point here for SSG. Ladies and gentlemen.
Technically, you were correct.
Yeah.
It is for the viewers.
It is for the viewers at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah. But that is one special thing about casting group stage here, is that we have every language that is really around the world, really, that is a mainstay language.
Basically,
yeah. I was like, how do I want to word this, really? Because, you know, you don't want to exclude people. I mean,
when that impact nade hit, there's about 5 or 6 other casting stations behind it, so I just went, oh, at the same time. So.
Oh my goodness, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. M-King gonna move his way over to Echo, and really that is the cool part about being in the Siege community. There's just people from all across the world that love this game so very much. Lou and I in that pool, which is really, really cool. So we actually are gonna have a hard breach swap out, as we are gonna drop Habana and allocate ourselves over to Thermite, at least for the SSG boys, if you guys are rooting at home for them. Rampy at the top of the leaderboard, ladies and gentlemen, across the entire board. 11 frags for him and 6 assists. We'll see if Space Station will be able to close it out here, or if we'll be going to overtime once again.
All right, folks, time to decide. Space Station, do or die time, and it is going to be on a site that they've already played towards before. In fact, it's a site that I believe they just played for in the last round, as it's going to be Aviator Games Room once again. Immortals, not a fan of playing, so they're going to knock the models off the ceiling. They don't want to keep this.
It's Aviator Room. They don't want Space Station to fly away and win this. That's what it is. Yeah, you got to.
It's too powerful. They can't let them have them. Also, just visual clutter, gets rid of it. That's the actual reason.
Yeah, that's the actual reason, in case you're wondering. It's not just all jokes and memes here, guys. We actually have some good information. Gosh, come on. SSG, though, once again, attacking the exact same site. I just really cannot talk today. Exact same site. Last time, impact grenade working out for the Legion inside of 90, but really did not have an effect on the round overall, as the rest of SSG just bulldozed the site and took over. And again, this is the site that the last time Immortals started off winning. So we'll see if they're able to extend, once again, this rotation of just winning sites over and over and over again. Back and forth they go like a carousel. It hasn't been broken just yet by either team, but we'll see if Space Station will be the team to do it. So they're trying to punch their ticket to the main stage right now.
Just using the first stun grenade to try and stop the trick on the other side here. That's why Bosco throws it over the top and aligns it with Redeemer's own breach. Hasn't actually triggered it, just as far as I'm aware. Yeah, was waiting for the nade to go off. Here's the attempt. Can Cyber stop it? It's not looking like that's Cyber. Cyber wouldn't be able to stop it. It would be Navi's. Excuse me, that would have to stop it, and we will not see that be too successful. They did, however, open up the bottom, meaning they can now just shoot out.
Attackers have located a bomb.
To reinforce that wall. At the same time, it looks like there's an evil eye on the other side too, trying to deny any opportunity to get close to it.
SSG slow and methodical, exactly like last time. Worked out for them the second time, but not the first. So we'll see if they can find it. PX having a hard time with a drone on his evil eye, but he will eventually get it here.
Squash that bug.
Yeah, squash that bug. As Rampy will go underneath. He's going to try and find some kills with some frag grenades. As actually, no, he is going to allocate for bullets instead of explosives, as he will choose that secondly, but Cyber's going to be able to find him from underneath. Will Cyber be able to find another one? No. Thinking nade. Take him down, and Navi's find one of his own, as Redeemer will falter as well. As things really start to pop off here. 53 seconds left on the clock. Bosco will destroy a little bit of barbed wire as they start to warm things up.
Space Station realized they've had issues with low time executes in the past though, so they've spent obviously the last minute and a half trying to get this wall open. To be fair, relatively unsuccessfully, but now they still have another 40 or 50 seconds to focus on actually trying to get through this door, and that's what the goal is for them right now. We do have the phone call coming out, I believe, on to the remaining members of the Immortals, and they'll have to force themselves through the primary doorway into the study. Bosco and Chala watch together on the other side, but they don't count Bullet. Bullet's allowed to get away with a free kill, tries to go for number 2, but Bosco is there for the trade. Quickly takes care of the bar, gets himself into the vault corner, where he can now go for the plant, but it's all on Thinking Nade to keep him alive at the moment. The drone moving in, did it get the interrupt off? No, it did not, but it did set up Thinking Nade. Still gets the kill regardless though, and no, he'll fall afterwards. Traded out by M-King. This goes down into a 1v2 for Bosco. Tries to line up the first kill, he's gonna get it. One more, it's gonna be him versus M-King to decide the round. As he approaches it, he'll jump on, start the counter defuse, he's sticking it, jumps off of it though. No full approach towards the doorway. He's gonna slowly crawl back out. Bosco gets it done for Space Station Gaming. A massive clutch for him, and he is feeling it as we see Space Station GG close it out on the 12th round, the very end of regulation, punching their ticket into the playoffs and into the final arena.